Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning from wherever you are, and welcome to The World's Gone Insane. Let's talk about it. Our Friday forum, where if you want, you could give us a topic in the comments and we could talk about it, or we'll just chat with our own topics and people can chime in as they want. Joining me, as usual, is Mr. Zaman. How you doing?
Fine, thank you. A little bit fatigued today, but I will say this: I had David Gower in my cab today,
Oh, the
and
cricketer.
the cricketer, and he is an awesome dude. It was
Yeah?
good to have him. Had him in
See,
my
it
car for
always
over
seems
an
like a
hour.
good sport on the show.
Yeah, nice guy. Um, so yeah, that was pretty cool. So that's another person on the list of celebrities that I had in my cab. I'm very happy with that one.
Lovely. Oh, Daniel Vance is in with the RIP toy designer Mark Baudreux, Ohio native. Yes, Kenner legend. Yes, absolute.
Oh,
Yeah, legend. He was, yeah, at Kenner factory, designed like the Millennium Falcon and all the Star Wars, a lot of the Star Wars toys that people know and love. But anyway, you know. Okay, so today we've got a bunch of stuff that we could talk about. Sadly, again, in film and TV, it's like there's not really a lot to kind of talk about. It's a bit quiet on the Western front. I've got two things to talk about, and gaming. Well, I mean, you know, if Zelda carries on being this awesome, like I contemplated whether to just not bother coming on tonight because I'm just so bloody addicted to the game. I was like, no, I need a break. And it's been what 8 days now because the game came out. Well, the game came out last week Friday, but I've been playing it. I got it a day early. I was very lucky. And hang on, let me put a light on here. My lighting is all out. Oh, I get a little flash. That's better. And this app. The minute I turn the
goddamn
lights on,
string
it kicks me out. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, whoa, hang on. Let's pause what I was saying. Zelda is awesome. I'm keep playing it. So Daniel Varntin with a scoop. Marvel has begun the process of recasting Jonathan Majors and has lost its screenwriter for the cat. I don't care about them losing their screenwriter. All the screenwriters at the moment, everyone's on strike. So, best of luck to them. I hope they get the best deal. But sadly, most of the writers in Hollywood, they either suck at their job or just too much studio interference makes them look badder than they actually are. And I'm guessing it's probably the latter. Hello, Cheeto.
Sell
How
your
you
kids and
doing?
get on fucking line, you cunt.
Yeah, exactly. Send them to the coal mines to work or something. You lot do that in America, don't you?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, make them work at McDonald's, for less than minimum wage.
yeah.
That's all that could believe it.
Oh,
I mean,
ridiculous, mate.
America.
Only in well, coming to Britain soon, I'll tell you, mate. Um,
Yeah.
that's good that they're going to recast Jonathan Majors. I think that given all the news that's come out, we've everyone should know to have been around the block long enough now to know that one incident you can kind of write it off, but when more and more stuff comes out about the person, then it's definitely better to just cut your losses. And if they're innocent, great. If not, whatever. But we all know that you know there's always merit to a lot of the stories that circulate. Always.
Oh yeah,
So
he's still going to be in things like Loki and stuff. I mean, they're really going to have to either explain why he looks different, or they're just going to just forget
I
about
wouldn't.
that and just
I wouldn't.
no.
No, no. As a big fuck you, I'll just recast him and just not say why. That you don't need an explanation for recasting or why they look different. That's just pandering to idiots, in my opinion. They've recast him because he's a piece of shit, allegedly. So Yeah, don't pay
Fair
any
enough.
credence. That you make them look less important by not explaining why they've been replaced, and you just let it known that you've moved on. Uh, right, Cheeto. Britain is only every 5 years behind the States. It's stupid bullshittery. Echo. Yes. What? I don't know what's going on here, but our our elections. Yeah, every government has a right to change the elections to 4 or 5 years, and of course, as soon as the Tories came in, the first thing they did was like, yeah, we're going to have elections every 5 years, which is ridiculous. You shouldn't have that option. It should be every 4 years.
That is way too long,
Yeah,
man.
5 years is
Way
way
too.
too long. It should be every 4 years. And if governments don't hit targets, then it should be every 2 years. Like Greece, I know Greece is in chaos, but if people rattle enough sabers every 2 years, you end up with a general election because they're like, well, fuck you. You're not really working for me, so bollocks to you.
And
We'll,
and
we'll
am I
have no
not
trust in the
merciful?
government.
Like, am I not merciful saying that if the Tories have their prime minister step down and they bring in somebody who's not democratically elected, fair enough, but they can't do it again because that's not democracy. So Rishi Sunak should not be prime minister. We should be having the moment Liz Truss stepped down. We should have had a fucking
Yeah,
election.
you can only change once. That's it. Once you change again, and it could happen again, then that just shouldn't be allowed. There are so many undemocratic rules in this country. It's just
My God. Well, this is what happens when you have a fucking king. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
democracy
ridiculous.
means shit. And
Yeah.
do you see that video of Jacob Rees-Mogg
Yeah, let's. I'll
talking?
talk about that later. Stop
Yeah.
derailing. You always go off on a
Oh,
tangent, and
I thought you were talking about
no,
politics
no,
here.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm literally, it was me
Okay.
that went on the tangent. But I want to go
Okay.
back to just talking about some MCU stuff because the politics stuff we can get into because it's quite a meaty stuff. So yes, Lucky now premiering October 6th, and Echo. They must have such faith in it that they're going to drop all the episodes at once. So it must be on that awesome level of She-Hulk. That's how good it must be.
Well,
So
look,
can't wait
I'm
for
going to
that.
try. I'm going to try and play devil's advocate here, and I feel that I think because certain things have been shitted on so much that they're worried that people might not even bother wanting to watch it on a weekly basis, regardless of how good it might be. So they're just doing this as a way of maybe hoping that people will watch it if they are able to binge it all in one go.
Yeah, rather than abandoning it
Yeah, yeah.
just after 1 week, so they'll just put it all on there. Which I suppose that's a good point because that's the better strategy to have for lesser known characters. Like they should do the same with Agatha Harkness and any other kind of obscure thing. Just dump all
Yeah.
your episodes at once. And yeah, if it's good, great, carry on. If it sucks, don't make another. It's that simple. But I think with Iger back, he just wants to just get rid of the stink of Chapek, who literally, and She-Hulk is a prime example of this, literally was telling people to create things based on Twitter and algorithmic feedbacks, which was fucking ridiculous. But he's been sued as well, so good fun because he lied during his tenure as CEO about how healthy the level of subscriber growth the Disney Plus platform was going to have, and the platform is actually losing subscribers now. It's not gaining. In North
Well,
America, it's doing okay, but in the rest of the world, it's just hemorrhaging subscribers because it's
not enough.
shit.
Not enough. Yeah, not enough new stuff. Like it's
Yeah,
like you got all these massive franchises. Disney, like, be a bit more consistent. With the franchises and stop delaying shit. My God, stop delaying
yeah,
shit. Is that
exactly.
ridiculous?
Like
Yeah.
they've delayed so much stuff now. It's just, we've got Secret Invasion, and then what? Then what? What's of interest? A bunch of obscure shit that nobody cares about. They're just like, they're going
I'll,
through the rough
I'll be
patch. Yeah, go on.
I'll be honest. We should have had an Avengers movie by now. It's been several years since Endgame. we should have an Avengers movie by now. I think 2019 was Endgame.
Yeah, 2019, four
Yeah, we
years.
should have had one. That's long enough. That's a big enough gap for an Avengers movie, as far as I'm concerned. And we haven't
Yeah,
had one. A nice little get together just to, get everyone feeling good again. And also, I know they've recently got back the rights of Fantastic Four and X-Men, but boy, have they stretched this shit out. I mean, there's hardly a hint of any of that stuff coming into fruition at this moment in time, other than seeing an alternative universe version of Professor X in Doctor Strange. And yeah,
yeah. I mean,
these are the franchises that are going to get bums on seats. You need to be pulling this shit out the hat now,
the
now.
the, the
You know what I
planning
mean?
has been absolute. But again, it was this push. It was this push to go with these fucking obscure characters because they hit a demographic, and I know I keep repeating that, but that's what's happening, and it's just like people aren't interested in that. You can target your demographic within a more popular franchise, like with X-Men. Like if I'm Disney now, I'm saying, like, fuck this, we're getting the mutants in because we're in trouble. Because our Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is going to do well enough because it's a beloved franchise. So that was always going to do well. But the Marvels is probably not going to do very well at all, which is sad because I liked what I saw, um, especially if they go cosmic and all of that, like Abandon Earth and go cosmic. What other films have they got in the pipeline that have been filmed already? I forget.
Well,
I know there's another one.
I have no fucking idea. No idea. It's going to read some comments in the meantime. What you think about this? Live action Powerpuff Girls for CW is cancelled. Didn't know. I mean, that's been cancelled for years, as
That
far
was
as I'm
cancelled
concerned.
ages ago, mate. Where have you
Yeah,
been? Jesus Christ.
but COVID knocked things. But yeah, yes, it did. I agree.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to say COVID derailed everything, and
um,
that, but
Mila
still,
Kunis is rumored to have been cast for the Sing in the new F4 movie. I'll tell you what. Jokes aside, I know one person who's absolutely perfect to play Ben Grimm. Vin Diesel. He is
uh,
perfect.
it's
He
too
is
fucking old.
perfect. No, I know he is now, but then again, he's going to be wearing an outfit. But he's got that gravelly voice. He can do it. I really think Vin Diesel is. I know he's playing Groot, but it's not like other people haven't played more than one role in the MCU. So and
Yeah,
Groot
no,
is
I'm all right with
obviously
that. I don't
um
really want Vin Diesel in anything, to be honest.
I wouldn't mind. I
Um,
really think I really think that he would work as Ben Grimm, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm okay. Wait, yeah, I know, but like, how long do we have to wait now? Like, it's getting ridiculous. Like they teased Fantastic Four at the end of Spider-Man, uh, Far From Home, and we've already had the third Spider-Man movie since then. So where the fuck are these cunts? You know what I mean? Like,
no
bring
way
in
home. Not Far
no,
From
no, Far
Home.
From Home. At the end of the second one, there is a Fantastic Four tease. It's a poster, but it's a tease. But you
Oh,
have to
right,
really
right,
look
right.
into it. But the point is, it's there. And then when they were showing the Phase 4 thing, I think a few years ago, at the end of Phase 4, because it is Phase 4, was the Fantastic Four that hasn't materialized. They haven't even got a fucking cast together for it. Like, get your shit together. Like, you think about you're saying don't rush it, but the way the MCU is going now, they need to fucking rush it because things are just going downhill at the moment. They need some big hitters, and F4 and the X-Men are those fucking big hitters that haven't been put on screen yet. Um, Nerdiverse says, do we really need another F4 movie? Yes, we do. We need one in the MCU because that's what it's all about. All the other ones haven't been MCU based. I don't mind having them in the MCU, but please not another. Yeah, I agree with that to a degree. Um,
I wouldn't
and
worry. Like I think like Disney were kind of done with going too much into origin story if they've already been told. Like what we got with Spider-Man was perfect because we don't need unless they're doing origins that's different. Like forget the Fantastic one where they got their powers in, in the negative zone and all this kind of stuff. Which is fine, if that happens and all that, because there's more reason to do that storyline than going into space storyline. But I think, given the current climate, it would be interesting to see how they get their powers in this one. But we don't need a film that starts like that. We could just do like a fucking flashback or something and get out of the
I'm all
way.
is in the can. In the can means it's like in the bin.
No, done. Ready.
Oh, it's in done. Okay,
It's
okay,
ready.
sorry. Oh, by the way, there's also Captain America 4. That's pretty much almost done.
Oh,
Um,
that's right. Yeah. That was
yeah,
it. That was the other one.
it's so weird. It's gonna have nearly every Hulk uh cast member in there, but the Hulk himself. Every time I hear Vin Diesel, all I can think about is his old Street Sharks commercial. I'm not sure about that, but I did see back in the day in the 80s, he used to do break dancing and stuff like that, which was
Yeah.
hilarious.
That just blows
Yeah,
my mind.
yeah.
They started the pro. Oh, okay. It's just talking to
That was the
to,
Easter egg,
to
not
Gareth.
yeah, yeah. Easter egg teasers, whatever, man. Like it's still there. Yeah, Majors is done, okay, and Marvel hasn't said so. It begins the House of Muse. They not be quit if they thought it make them. I don't know what that means. No, they don't need to rush it. 100%, 1000% disagree. It's not. I'm just saying, like, just like move along now. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even rushing it. I think we've been patient enough now. Enough time has passed. Get something going. All we've had now is like what's his face in oh, we also had that Reed Richards as well as Professor X. It's like, come on, we need a bit more than that. It's not official, but he's done. They started the process of recasting. They've not announced because of optics. Who do you think will be a good replacement, by the way,
For who?
black or white, for Jonathan Majors?
For Jonathan Majors. Oh well, I mean they're definitely gonna keep it black so as not to kind of confuse the fuck out of idiots. Um oh fuck. Do you remember Bushmaster
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Luke
yeah,
Cage? Him. I love
yeah.
that actor. He's
I
so
wouldn't mind
versatile.
I wouldn't mind Michael J. White. I'm not sure if he's got the acting
Nah, he
chops.
hasn't got the acting chops to kind of pull that off.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Michael J. White, but he hasn't got that. But the guy
You know what
who
you could
plays
do? You could do Wesley Snipes.
no
Yeah.
fuck, you are so bad with casting. Like you keep casting old people. Like
Yeah, but
you trigger me when you talk about casting because
it's not like this
you're
guy
20 years
is
too
got a
late.
fucking It's not like he's got a Zimmer frame. He's playing a guy who's going to be in a handful of
Nah,
movies and then they're going to move on.
nah,
You know what I mean?
forget Wesley Snipes 30 years ago. Fuck yeah. But not Wesley Snipes now. Wesley Snipes now is just been and gone, and he's so apathetic about his work ethic as well that he's just not even worth considering.
Really?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never knew he was
But you don't
apathetic.
see him anymore. Nobody wants to hire him. Because he's just
Oh,
difficult to work with. Just the tax scandal is like benign. In terms of good lord, what happened?
sorry. My mic fell down.
All right, just your
I was
screen
about to
froze, and
scratch.
all
I
I
was just
heard, I thought you got attacked by your birds or something.
no. Three of them are in the cage.
Uh,
Only Juicy is like flying around.
we have three
But
movies this year. How many do you want? Yeah, no, three's enough. It's just what
that's this year. But I'm talking about the upcoming future. Like we should be having.
I mean. We had. Oh yeah, we just had Guardians. That was the other film. Jesus Christ, my brain just doesn't work. My apologies. Yeah, and then we've got the Marvels, which I hope I hope it's good and I hope it does well. Um, 3 films a year is fine. We don't need more than 3 films a year. But it's the films that they got in the pipeline that we're talking about that are just fucking non-interesting. You could argue
And
maybe Captain America 4, but that it just depends until we see a trailer.
there's, there's no
There's Deadpool 3 as
pre-production.
well coming, which I don't know. I'm just kind of fed up with Ryan Reynolds, to be honest. So I'm semi. I'm just I'm just on the fence with that one. Zam, you're gonna answer
Yeah.
Cheeto? You just want to rush everything?
No, he says I want to. I'm just saying I would like some maybe some pre-production. I'm not saying it should be out now, but just like it would be nice to know that they are finally making these fucking movies. But at the moment, everything seems to be up in the air. That's all I'm saying. You
The
know,
thing is,
like
the
yeah,
thing is, look, it's not about rushing the X-Men. No one's saying to rush the X-Men. What we're saying is, instead of giving us absolute pointless characters that nobody's going to give a fuck about, okay, the Avengers well has been tapped into. The mutant well is triple, quadruple the fucking size of the Avengers well. There's so much to play with there. You don't even need X-Men at the moment. You just need a couple of shows with the mutants in there, build it up towards X-Men. Like you can't go straight into the X-Men unless you go to another universe, which is a cop out. So there's plenty to play with, and if I was them, I'll just fucking whatever they got working, just scrap it and go straight to the mutant phase because
there's easily a like a Wolverine movie they could make. I mean, there's been several of them now, but I'm talking not Hugh Jackman either, and so this will probably have to be after
you don't, yeah,
Deadpool 3.
you don't need Wolverine yet. There are so many others to kind of tap into. Like if you went with like
It's just that it's you talk about the like the fringe characters. Wolverine's bank. I mean he's not a fringe character. He's the most popular of all the X-Men. We have you get him. You make a movie about him. You're making a movie about a mainstay character who could be part of a group, who could be on his own. That's bank, and
yes,
that'll
but
get people on some seats.
you're putting all your eggs into the main character basket without establishing the kind of support infrastructure as well. So you Wolverine's the one you don't want to rush because that's the one that that's the guy that keeps getting milked. Whereas like your Cyclopses, your Storms. I mean, you could do a whole fucking series of Storm and you set it in Egypt, and that's how you get Gambit. That's how you get like Professor X. That's how you get Apocalypse. There are just so many little pockets of mutants you could do. Like, ah, honestly,
I
like
I
the
need I
world
need
is
I
your
need to
oyster with the mutants.
I need to respond. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind it right now, but at the same time, as we haven't got it right now, what I'm trying to also say is that there's not even a hint of pre-production on these movies. Like, we're talking maybe something that would come out in maybe 2 years' time. How long are we going to fucking wait? I'm going to be 46 in a couple of days. I'm not going to be on this fucking planet much longer. I want these fucking films out now, or as soon as possible, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ, man. You know what I mean?
I want everything now. Yeah, I just want them to ditch their slate and move on to. Even if they do F4 before they do X-Men, that's fine. Because for me, I don't. It's not that the F4 I care about that much. It's Doctor Doom coming in and like that kind of well of villainry and dealing with like the negative zone and all this kind of stuff, which is
Yeah, he's
interesting.
top. He's top tier.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I mean,
Kang
he's.
you'll have in there as well, who's a descendant of Richards anyway. So
I've always said though they should make movies that are based on the antagonist. So they should have maybe a Kang movie. They should have a Doctor Doom movie. Films based on them. Maybe the protagonists are may not necessarily have to be the Fantastic Four, but they could be the secondary characters, and it's all focused on the villain. I would love
absolutely.
something like that.
Oh my god, you like
Yeah.
there's like a Doom film would be phenomenal. Um, from the ashes of Sokovia rises Latveria and he rises to power and all this, and you could tie him to the Mystic Arts with Doctor Strange rather than some other kind of place. And there's so much great potential with the Doctor Doom. You could do a Magneto film, which obviously you have to adjust the times of tragedy and you
That
know
was supposed to happen, by the way, at one point. You remember
that's what
the
First
Star Wars
Class was meant to
anthology
be.
movies.
First Class
Yeah,
was meant to be a Magneto film, and Lawrence Schuler Donner, in her infinite stupidity, said, "No, we need more characters in there and all of that." And don't get me wrong, First Class was fantastic. It's my favorite of all the Fox X-Men films.
sorry, I'm gonna
That's
mute
all right.
myself. Apologize.
Yeah, no worries. And but just the thought of having Magneto going around hunting Nazis was just brilliant concept, and I would have just been happy with that. Let me see, aka pre-production. Well, the next Avengers is called Kang Dynasty, so yeah, don't bank on all of that, mate. You know, it could all change. Will it focus mainly on Kang? I mean, that's what made Infinity War so fucking good. Is like the main focus was on Thanos. So yeah, I'd love to see more like films on villains, um, and not like your Thunderbolts. I mean, you could do. I mean, you could do a whole origin story with Apocalypse. You could do fucking. You could do Norman Osborn. You could do a film with Norman Osborn and just take it in a different direction. Like, just so far much more compelling. Willow removed from Disney Plus. Writer John Bickerstaff blasts Disney for to remove only 6 months of streaming. How odd. Well, I guess it was such a flop that they just don't want to even hand out royalties to it. So they're like they'll just rather get rid of it completely. But again, like Willow was just a prime example of that Disney ethos of how they write things and how they create characters. And it was just shit. The only interesting character in it was a big Asian guy who is gonna be coming up in that new. I don't know if you guys saw the trailer to it. It's called The Creator, which is awesome looking. So it's done by Gareth Edwards, who was the legend behind Rogue One, at least the
Sorry
initial
about
shoot,
that.
and then Gilroy did some of the reshoot stuff. But Gareth Edwards has got The Creator coming out, and that Asian dude's going to be in that. So I'm looking forward to that. But as for Willow, mate, yeah, I don't blame Disney for getting rid of it off their platform. Yeah,
I
that's it
don't blame
exactly, Vance.
I, I,
It looks
I don't
stunning.
blame Disney for getting rid of it either. Like it was like that and National Treasure. Like they are so cheesy, shitty, you know, crappy bollocks. And I'm not surprised they only lasted one fucking season. I did, even though National Treasure was shit, I did like it, knowing that it was shit. It was just, it was a level of shit that I found,
I understand it. It's on that level of like,
palatable.
yeah,
It's
like
palatable.
your NCISs and all this kind of stuff, your CIS, where it's shit,
Yeah,
but you're just enjoying the ride of it.
but Willow, I expected so much more from. When it comes to like to fantasy, and then look, I've always said that there's something that grates me when we have medieval settings and these motherfuckers have fucking American accents. I can't handle that shit. I just genuinely, it just makes me
Goddamn
want to.
racist.
I want to fucking smash everything and anything into pieces. I want to break my laptop into half. I want to put a hole in my television. I want to destroy my headphones hearing that fucking that Valley Girl shit. It just drives me fucking nuts. Yeah. So yeah, that really fucking pissed me off. I never want to hear when it comes to when it comes to those sort of medieval fantasy settings. I don't want to fucking hear a fucking American accent ever,
It's like
ever.
it's like when they try to Americanize British shows, and you're just like, "Ooh, so cringe. What are you doing?" It's like so it was a very popular show. It was called Sex Education. It was on Netflix. It had like Gillian Anderson in it, and I tried to watch it, and you remember Leighton Way and all of that, and me and him had a huge row over it because I was saying to the guy, "You're a creator, you're a writer." I said, "You and your brother are very talented, and you're watching that show that is set in England, yet has the most American vibe to it, to the point where it is unbearably cringy, and you're saying this is the best show on TV." I said, no. I go, no wonder you and I don't see eye to eye and everything anymore, because I said you've got the mind of a centrist and you think this is acceptable. It's so bad. So yeah, don't do that, and don't put
Yeah.
American accents in Lord of the Rings type shows. Those are the rules.
Yeah, I agree. Look, there is like a show that I've been watching that I do recommend you should watch. I'm not sure if you've seen it or not. It is Ted Lasso, and
I
Ted
can't stand
Lasso
that show. I've tried, but I hate it.
really.
I
I'm
can't
on
stand it.
season 3 right now, and it's just such a lovely show. Like it's beyond the American fish out of water tale. It's more than that now, because that you can only play on that for a season or two. After that, you can't keep playing on that. It's like flogging a dead horse. And so they've moved on to the supporting cast, and we're following a lot of them about and their character traits and their character arcs. And it's brilliant, and it's so sweet at the same time, and it's funny, but it's not done in the American way where you probably have that little stupid music in the background going do 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 and all that sort of shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's just done so superbly, and
Sorry.
I'm really happy it's as good as it is, and I'm very happy that it's got a predominantly British cast, and it's filmed in the United Kingdom, and it hasn't got any of those American traits other than a couple of American actors. But if it had those American traits, this show would be just as shit as some of the other comical shows that come from that godforsaken fucking country. Yes, I'm going to be shitting on America a lot
Oh my god.
today just for the sake of it. I fucking love it. I love shitting on America so much. So yeah, Ted Lasso, I highly fucking recommend it. It is awesome, and it's a show that's popular with Americans and Brits. But yeah,
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 it's huge. It's really huge. It's won a bunch of awards as well, and good for it. It's not my cup of tea, but it's always good when shows bring people together. It's like Game of Thrones. I can never get into it, mainly because I just didn't have the time at the time, so I never went back to the well because I couldn't be asked. But everyone at work was like talking about it. All people of all ages. So when shows do that, it's always great to see. So just I was going to talk about
quickly made by
wrestling,
Craig
but
Company.
I can't be asked. Just AEW Collision's been announced starting in June. No CM Punk. He's been a fucking diva about AEW not wanting to hire his friend Ace Steel. And at this point, just fucking forget CM Punk. Whether he's a drawer or not, who cares? He's just a petulant little fucking child, and he gets way too much respect than he deserves, if I'm being perfectly honest. So that's my news on AEW. WWE, there's no
Uh,
news. It's the same old shit.
yeah, like I said, watching wrestling in a voyeuristic way. I'll tell you what, I do feel vindicated regarding Rey Mysterio, because for a long time I've said Rey Mysterio is my favorite wrestler, and I feel that every time you watch a Rey Mysterio match, you're gonna have a good time. But a lot of people never really looked upon him as the man back then. Even when he was wrestling, yeah, people like Shawn Michaels and Undertaker and all these guys still wrestling, and Rey Mysterio never got a look in. Now that he's at the twilight of his career, and he's still wrestling the same way he was maybe 20 years ago, people are really starting to throw respect to his name, and they're acknowledging how good he is. And now with the feud he's having with his son, which is also awesome. But I do remember watching that child custody match with Eddie Guerrero, which is one of my favorite matches of all time. One of my favorite ladder matches ever, where they're like climbing the ladder to get the custody papers. To be to be Dominic's dad.
I was so glad I was not fucking watching WWE at the time. Look,
Oh
the thing with Rey
mate,
Mysterio,
that was a
I
great
don't know.
match.
I don't know where you're getting that information about Rey Mysterio, because he's always been beloved by the fans. It's just the way WWE booked him, as they never saw him as a guy, because he's short. But
No,
if
no,
you compare,
I know.
hang on, if you compare Rey Mysterio in WCW compared to WWE, WCW, they did him right, apart from getting him to remove his mask, which was
The mask,
fucking
yeah.
sacrilege. They should never have done that. But it's just Vince's booking. That's all it is. Vince's booking. I remember when I started rewatching wrestling, and he had the belt, the title, and then just fucking gave it to John Cena. And it's just like, what kind of fucking booking is this? Like, he has it for a day. So yeah, but Mysterio is just, he's one of the, he in terms of merchandising, he's one of the best merch selling wrestlers of all time. Of all time. That's why WWE, when Mysterio's career was coming to an end because of his knees, and then he had the breakthrough stem cell surgery, that he had, and it's really just giving him a new lease of life. They tried to replace him with Sin Cara. Why? Because that style of wrestler was selling like way more merch. He was selling more merch than John Cena. He was selling more. The only other person at the time that was selling close to Mysterio in that era was Zack Ryder, and they didn't give him a look in. But with Rey Mysterio, they tried to replace him with a like for like, but it never gonna work because there's only
Well,
one Rey
remember,
Mysterio. He's one of the
Rey
best
Mysterio
of all time.
he has a personality to boot as well. He's not just a mask
Exactly.
wrestler. Like he is the probably the most nicest nice guy wrestler there's ever been
Yeah.
in the WWE, and people only say good things about him. It's incredible that he has never been a heel,
He was in
ever.
WCW,
No, WCW, yes,
but
but
never
in
in
the
WWE.
WWE,
No, because just like John Cena, because of the merch,
at
because
least
he was
John
selling the
Cena was a
merch.
heel. I mean, John Cena started off as a face, turned heel,
Yeah, and
and
then he
then
became a face, and then that was it. Then they
yeah,
put him through the Super Cena era, and they never looked back. Because again, it was all to do because it's selling merchandise. Even though Roman Reigns as a heel has sold more merchandise than he was as a good guy, so that's Vince's
yeah.
archaic fucking logic out the window.
Cool, yeah, but like Vince has never looked really, apart from maybe Triple H at some point, like he never really looked at bad guys as being cool people. You know what I mean?
No,
And
he's brain dead idiot.
yeah,
The guy's a hick. You know what I mean? He's just a fucking New York hick. That mentality. So he just lacks. Anyway,
I know,
right.
I know.
So let
Sorry. What is it? A couple of things
quickly,
that
yeah.
I know he's back. I don't know how much of an influence he's playing now within the WWE. You know,
No idea.
and
The
also
minute he came back, I stopped watching.
there was a battle royale as well for the Intercontinental title, which was going to be done at Crown Jewel or wherever the fucking event is called in Saudi Arabia.
Clash of Champions.
Clash of Champions. Oh, that's happening in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what annoyed me the most is that it kind of made it obvious that it was going to be Mustafa Ali who's going to be facing um Ghana. Is that right?
I don't know.
He's the,
Gunther.
he's the he's the
Gunther.
yeah whoever the fucking intercontinental champion is, and I hate that level of predictability within the WWE. Just somehow make a feud where he's able to just fucking fight Gunner in Saudi Arabia. That would have been a lot better than making it seem like he was that he had a instead of having a fucking battle royal that made it obvious that he was going to be the winner, because whenever they have anything in Saudi Arabia, they fucking throw him in the fucking mix. This is the only time he's got a chance to shine. It's fucking ridiculous. Like stuff like that pisses me off. It really
Yeah,
does.
yeah. It's
You know
like
what I
when
mean?
they'll go to India. They're going to do a show in India, and they're just going to roll out their token Indian wrestlers for that day, and then fucking shove them back in a bloody down in the like lower cards
Yeah,
once the thing is done. It's just fuck off. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Like Jinder Mahal
yeah.
might not be
Jinder
the
Mahal, yeah.
best wrestler, for example, but his reign as a champion was hilarious. It was great with the Bollywood brothers and all this kind of stuff, and it was nice having something different. Like different is
Oh
good,
yeah,
and this was good
yeah.
because they were trying to tap into the Indian market at the time, so they put him as a champion. And I liked his run. He's not a great wrestler, but all the other stuff that kind of revolved around him was a good crack. So I just want to go. So trailer for Asimov's Foundation series 2 has dropped. Did not like Foundation at all.
What the hell is this? As in the mob? What the fuck?
Isaac Asimov, the fucking writer. So
Season two.
his book, the Foundation. Yeah, found it's on Apple TV. I couldn't get through the first series. It just bored me. It's gorgeous looking, like it looks so big budget, but it wasn't for me. However, fans of the show, the series 2 is dropping, so enjoy. They dropped the trailer. I'll check out the trailer later. Telltale Games is coming out. Telltale Games is coming out with what? That's like saying EA Games is coming out.
Well, look, if Telltale Game comes out with something, it truly needs to have story modes where your decision takes you on a totally different path to what another decision will make, because all these other games like The Walking Dead and stuff like that, you pretty much followed the same path, but your characters have just different personalities, or people would react to your character with a different personality. Um, Following that same path, you might get along with other characters, you might not get along with those characters, but nevertheless, the path was always the fucking same, and that's what pissed me off. I want games, where if you make a
Decisions
decision,
mean something. Yeah.
yeah, like you go this way. If you take the left turn, you go that way, and then the whole fucking thing that happens instead of taking the right turn, which goes that way, and the whole fucking like I really want, stuff like that is I find very important, and yeah.
Fair enough. I'm not a fan of
Regarding
those type
Telltale
of games,
games.
but
Well, I fell out in love with them. I used to love those games. I did, but I fell out of love with them because there was not much difference between them. Yeah, so
yeah, they went downhill really quick, and that's why the company went under. Now they're back now. Epic Games
Death
launches free
Stranding.
game, Death Stranding, the walking
Oh, is that
simulator.
like where you got your whole inventory on your back?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Amazon.
man.
It's what Amazon will be in the future.
Yeah, they're basically exactly, like they're already teaching us how to work in the future. So
You only
by
need one
making-
game at the moment, and that's Zelda. That's it. That's all you need. Tears of the Kingdom. You don't need anything else. And I'm not a Nintendo fanboy, and I'm saying that. Just saying. Speaking of games, Gary's not here, so I was going to talk about Bethesda being their usual pile of shit. So
you heard about Overwatch 2, actually.
So we'll move on to Overwatch 2. Yes. So Overwatch 2 has scrapped their promised PvE co-op aspect of their game. And I think they've also scrapped hero progression. So basically, it really is just Overwatch 1.1.2. Yeah, just who made that game? Is it Blizzard?
Yep.
Yeah, Blizzard.
Activision Blizzard, same shit.
Yeah, same shit. It just shows you the kind of state of the company and the state of gaming. Not that I champion them being bought off by Microsoft, though it looks like that's eventually going to happen. But the minute I saw the first trailer for this game, I was just like, this is Overwatch 1.2. Like, when you just get that initial feeling straight away, and that's what it is. And it's just like, oh well, the first Overwatch was fun for a month, but I got fucking bored of it. And that's so. But I wanted to see what they do with the sequel, and the PvE aspect, the co-op aspect of it, really had me intrigued. Like, because I prefer PvE to PvP, and they scrapped it. They fucking scrapped it. It's like, because the game's a flop anyway. It's not making as much as they wanted to. It's doing well in terms of esports, but
it's an old game now. It's not. I wouldn't call it a flop. It's just that it's past its peak. It was a very successful game. People bought
the first Overwatch was massive. Yeah. It was a huge franchise. It was like over $1 billion franchise. And that
they even made porn out of the characters, for fuck's sake.
They've made porn. They've made fucking toys. They've made, like, God knows, everything you can name for Overwatch. They made it. But it's just a shame that the second one has just been so poorly managed. But by the time they got to the second one, fucking Blizzard just isn't what it was. Everyone's bloody gone from the company, so it's basically just a shell. So
it's always the people at the top, isn't it? By the way,
always,
Penny, because they're the ones, like the developers, the people the programmers. They're never to blame. They're the ones who are just they're trying to make a game that will be accessible and playable by the masses. But it's the people at the top who interfere, in the art of gaming, because they're always trying to make their bottom dollar, and then they end up ruining things. And this game, by the way, Overwatch 2, like, they knew apparently that before the end of the year that there wasn't going to be a PvE mode, So they've been leading on like it was going to happen for a long time, obviously, to keep making sales, which shows you how disingenuous they are, and it's very annoying. It's very annoying.
Yeah, yeah, it's frustrating, but it's not surprising. Like the standard, the standard of gaming, like for every one great game we get, like Hogwarts or your Tears of the Kingdom, there's like 20 piles of shit that infest this fucking godforsaken hobby, and it's just it's beyond reconciliation. Now the point is, like, you just want to see all the I personally, I know this is sad for people who put out a job, but I want to see the AAA companies fail, and I want to see the indie companies kind of rise with the outreach with the creation of um Unreal Engine 5. That's a definite possibility that it's going to happen. But until then, I mean, look, we just got the trailer for Mortal Kombat dropped. And what does it say at the end of the trailer? Pre-order now to get Shang Tsung. Like,
Yeah,
what the fuck are you doing?
Shang
Why
Tsung, a stalwart of fucking
a
Mortal Kombat,
stalwart? And you have to
and you have to
I'm sure you
pre-order
can
to get him.
unlock him eventually, but locking like fighting games, this is why I never buy fighting games. I never buy them because they lock characters off behind a paywall. And it's easy to do because people are idiots and they buy all that crap. And so it's just like, oh yeah, well, I'll get them in I'll download them in my normal method where everything's unlocked. So kiss my ass. I'm not paying £600 to have every bloody character in the fucking game. You know. So yeah, with Mortal Kombat though, it's one of those where it'll just be like, can't wait for the cutscenes because that's where all the interesting is. And you saw the trailer, and it's just like, why can't you just release a fucking 3D film like that of Mortal Kombat? Why do you have to be so extra? Like, you do Mortal Kombat 2, and it's still going to focus on bloody Cole, a character nobody gives a shit about, and you try to deflect that by saying, yeah, they're going to cast Johnny Cage. They're looking to cast Johnny Cage. It's like, okay, but who's the focus of the story? Oh, it's still the same boring guy from the previous Mortal Kombat film.
Apparently, Cody Rhodes is going to play Johnny Cage. That's the rumor.
Well, I don't know. Whoever it is,
But
it doesn't matter when the
go,
same protagonist
going
is
on
in it.
going on about Mortal Kombat, I had no idea what I was watching when I saw Mortal Kombat 1. I thought, okay, what's this? And I'm watching it. I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, this is an actual TV show or movie. I generally thought it was
Oh,
watching all of
you didn't
this.
know it was a game?
It didn't know it was a game, and then boom, it hits us at the very end. Pre-order for Shang Tsung. I thought, oh fuck, this is a game, and like I was so upset. And this is what pisses me off because these cinematic trailers like this and the ones you get in Star Wars, the Old Republic ones, like they are so goddamn good, and people lord over this shit, and they never give us what we truly want, which is feature-length versions, or maybe even a series, a TV series, you know, of this stuff. And once
God, can
again,
you imagine a TV
yeah,
series of Knights of the Old Republic done in the way that the cutscenes were?
yeah,
Oh, Jesus
uh,
Christ! I don't think I'd have enough juice left in me to handle all the goodness. All the
yeah.
goodness.
And like these things are made by Warner Brothers, who do an excellent job because they own the DC universe as well as Mortal Kombat, and they've obviously crossed over in the past. But Injustice, never interested in the fighting aspect, just cared about the story for both the first two films. And same with Mortal Kombat. I actually, when it comes to Mortal Kombat and games like Injustice, those are the only sort of video games I enjoy watching as a spectator, because you have to be so masterful to play them, because I can't play them to save my life. But I appreciate other people who can play them because there's a level of skill involved. But once again, it's all about the story, and I really look forward to it. Same with Suicide Squad.
I was just going
Whether
to
I
say,
buy it,
Suicide Squad. The story looks great, but the game looks
yeah,
crap.
yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, it's just a testament to, again, the best part, the most consistent part of Warner Brothers, even in game form, is their animated animations and how they are able to tell magnificent stories through the medium of animation, yet felt so miserable with films. It just adds to the frustration. It's like, well, Just be the company that does full on realistic looking CGI films from here on in. I know you'll make more money through the game medium than you would for the thing, but think about people like us who will see like an R-rated Mortal Kombat in the style of their cutscenes in the cinema. I'd fucking buy my ticket tomorrow to go watch it. The
Yeah,
over-the-top
exactly.
violence. We'd all be laughing our fucking heads off. But
Yeah,
Hollywood and its lack of vision. But all
yeah.
right, I think that covers gaming and film and TV. We can talk about politics. Haha, everyone's favorite bag. And Brexit has been a huge success, as you can tell, for the UK. Even Nigel Farage went on TV boasting as such. Or was it the opposite? Ah, it was the opposite. Nigel Farage, the architect behind the mess that this country is in, and never ever let them tell you that one man and the idiots that follow him aren't enough to make a change because this man has destroyed this country beyond repair. Even he admits that Brexit was a failure. And what cracks me up is he saying that the Brexit that we've done has been a disaster. It's like, but this is the Brexit you wanted, the hard Brexit, not the soft.
Yeah.
You wanted this Brexit, and so no amount of you juggling your words is gonna convince anyone otherwise. We know that this is the Brexit you wanted, and all the rich people wanted, and it's been a fucking disaster as predicted. And the Tories aren't daring; they just do not want to change any kind of rules because those fucking cunts in the backbenches are just, they don't want it. They like this disaster capitalism. They're profiting heavily off of it. And to suggest that going back and changing the deals to make it better for everyone is suicide as a leader. And that's exactly what's happened with Sunak. If you saw in the news recently, there was rumbles about replacing Sunak because he wants to change the Brexit deal to make it better for businesses. So this self-destruction that the right are just plunging us into for their own selfish game is unacceptable. And we really should be targeting these fucking MPs and getting them off their seats and making their lives a living misery. Zam, you want to chime in on anything?
I think Farage talk about how Brexit. I mean, this is something he pushed. He was pushing for Brexit. He's just as responsible as all these fucking Tory politicians who had to work with the fucking mess that he created, and then he wonders why it never. I mean, look, I don't consider myself to be the sharpest tool in the box, but even I knew this was going to be terrible. And when I'm hearing all these people talk about it, and you can see it's coming from delusions of grandeur, from the fucking from this really stupid blighty mindset that is just so ridiculous. It's insulting. It made me think. Talking to these people, they remind me of those dickhead flag worshipping Americans. They were no fucking different. And
Yeah, it's the same mentality. This nationalistic
exactly.
pride of trying to go back to an era of what exactly? Feudalism, where the rich control the poor. And that's what they talk about, the good old days when we were the serfs and they were the lords. And it's just like, fuck you. But
You
we
listen to
deserve it. We're
people.
just cucks. The English are just cucks. I don't want to drag anyone else into this, but the English and the Welsh are massive cucks. The Northern Irish and the Scottish don't take any of this shit.
I don't know if I sent you that video of TikTok of this one guy explaining, like he was asked some of the benefits of Brexit, and he mentioned how it was easier because of the trade deal we done with New Zealand. It's easier to get New Zealand lamb. As far as I'm concerned, from as long as I can remember, we always had fucking New Zealand lamb in this fucking country.
Always.
So what the fuck is this guy talking about? They when it comes to the benefits of Brexit, they haven't got a fucking clue, and they go through some serious word salad to maybe hide their cluelessness because it's just so frustrating.
You can't hide it anymore. You cannot hide it. When the car industry is sitting there telling you, "Oi, We are struggling here because all the fucking bureaucracy, thanks to Brexit, and we're gonna just shut our factories down and go. And now Britain are like, the government's like, oh well, we'll give you money to stay. So it's just like, here you go, socialism for the rich, fuck the poor, because the companies will probably take that money and shut down the factories anyway. They'll probably give them that money with no conditions. I just want to quickly go to Vance here. State of Montana bans TikTok after the parent company ByteDance, a Chinese company, for collecting user data. Yeah, the attack on TikTok is an hilarious one. Because okay, they can be overreaching with collecting your data and all this kind of stuff, but it's basically just Zuckerberg and Google trying to bring down the competition. That's all it is. Capitalism hates competition, and so they're giving you all these lies and all this BS propaganda about TikTok when these companies are doing the same fucking thing as TikTok is. All right, everything that they tell you, that every scare tactic they tell you about TikTok, Facebook is doing, or Meta is doing, and Google is doing, and then Amazon is doing. All these companies are doing the same shit as TikTok. They just want to eliminate the competition. That's the only reason. And because,
Okay.
sorry, go on.
An example, even before social media became a thing, was say poker websites. Like poker websites were really bad for um, gambling areas, like in Nevada, in Las Vegas, for casinos, because people wouldn't necessarily have to go to the casino to play poker or to gamble. They could do it on their computer, and so you had George W. Bush come along and ban all of that shit. The land of the free. The banning all of that shit, so people couldn't gamble on their computers anymore. And just to go on to people like
And that
Ron
was just to
DeSantis, there was
protect. That was to protect
yeah,
Las Vegas and the
yeah, Las
gambling
Vegas and
industry.
like
Yeah.
and like there's somebody mentioned regarding Ron DeSantis about all the rules that he's bringing in, and like Republicans go on about how they're anti big government. This guy is pure big fucking government, government tyranny and stuff like that. You talk, America, these same right wingers going about how they love their guns and they keep their guns in case the government comes after them and stuff like that. Right now, the government under DeSantis in Florida is coming after lots of different types of people, from gays to minorities. This is where they need to use their Second Amendment rights, against the government, because like the tyranny is right there. But no, that's not going to fucking happen.
Of course not, because
It's
it's
ridiculous.
their people, and before they realize it's too late, they're never going to turn the guns on the people that they vote in, because Americans have, I say Americans, people are very tribal. Because I don't just want to paint the Americans with that brush, because it's the same shit here and the same shit in
Yeah,
Greece.
yeah, for sure.
My side is right no matter what, and despite all the evidence to the contrary, I don't care, because it's not about principles. It's about my side being in control. And when that's your mentality, and it happens even with left wingers, when that's your mentality, then you're just disingenuous. You're tribal, and you don't care about, you know, it's not about finding a middle ground. It's about doing what's right for society as a whole. And on both sides of the spectrum, you can't police art, which is something that the left does as much as the right, which is fucking frustrating. And you can't be policing people's right to live, which is exclusively on the right. And then, be happy that one group is being suppressed while you're getting to thrive, because eventually they're going to come for you. And they came for those people in the Reagan era, and yet, Republicans are still around, and they're still voting, and they're still being fucking idiots. Also, if they can go after one Chinese company for collecting of user data, why not a Chinese gaming company? Well, exactly, but the difference with the gaming industry is a lot of those Chinese companies have their, like Tencent and all of that, have their fingers in the trough of a lot of American companies, and they don't see that as a threat because they're making a lot of money. Whereas with Facebook and Google's platforms are losing out to TikTok, and so they're triggered by it and they want to ban it. Sorry. So yes, Zam, did you have anything else to add to that?
Regarding politics, so I just want to go jump back to Jacob Rees-Mogg. He was famously saying how they tried to bring in voter ID laws because they wanted obviously people to only vote conservative, but then the conservatives realized that a lot of their elderly voters don't have voter ID, so it ended up
It
fucking them
backfired
up.
on them.
And he openly admitted this,
Yep.
on a stage in public, like they're trying to create voter suppression, and nothing's being done about it. And you can see the conservatives in this country now, they're taking massive leaps out of the Republican playbook. Like they're shitting on trans and shitting on people being different and stuff like that. This is supposed to be also a free fucking country, and then I
Well,
see these pick me
it
like
shows you
Suella
how far.
Braverman, yeah.
Yeah, it shows you how far the Overton window has shifted just in the last 2 years alone. Because remember in Italy when they had the national convention of fucking that massive far right convention thing in Italy, and a Tory attended and got suspended from the party. Fast forward 2 years, and they held the fucking event here in London, and all the Tories bloody went to it, and it was a complete shit show. They're openly admitting to being fucking fascists. And who's that funded by? That's funded by the a Republican institution spreading this fucking far right disease because they know the only way to stop the tide of left wing movements is to just go full out fucking fascist. And will it work? Yes, probably, because
Well,
in this country we brought in voter IDs and nobody fucking protested. Like,
we know
just
we don't protest in this country anyway. Like I said, we've all become lethargic fat fucks dining on McDonald's and fucking getting wasted before 11 o'clock in the evening when the pubs close, because that's who we are now as a society. The only time we ever complain about shit is when we see fucking foreigners coming across rubber dinghies, but everyone thinks that's the fucking problem with this country, not the fucking people who run it. You know what I mean? But the people who are escaping poverty from other countries coming to this one, they think they're the problem when it's far from it.
yeah,
They're
and
just getting exploited. They're chess pieces. That's all.
yeah, but the thing is, like, to add fuel to the fire, you've got a fucking opposition leader who openly admits that he's a conservative. He openly admits that, yeah, we're the Tory
Oh, Keir
replacement,
Starmer.
Keir Starmer, and
Yeah. I
and
heard that. I saw that.
and we're heading for a hung parliament. Where are all the fucking bells and whistles and screaming now that they were doing against Corbyn that they should be doing against Starmer? Because he's a failed leader. He's gone back on every pledge. He's been to the right on Tories on a lot of fucking issues regarding, like, he's still going to keep the police bill and the voter ID thing. He's still going to keep student loans. He's still keeping everything. So people are like, well, why am I voting for you? But of course, it's by design. It's deliberate. He's not like an idiot. That's the thing. I argue with people on the left about this all the time. I'm like, you guys. I said it's shocking how adults don't understand the strategy in play here. And the strategy in play is Starmer is in there to completely disenfranchise the left, get rid of him out of the party, and disenfranchise the left and disenfranchise voters so the people in power can stay in power. To Starmer and to Labour, it doesn't matter if there's a hung parliament. It doesn't matter to them as long as their donors keep getting to make their money. That's the name of the game at the end of the day. And we aren't going to see a huge shift towards, the Greens. That the Tories, if the Tories get wiped out, there is a very small possibility that the Greens can become the second biggest party. Although that's a pipe dream at the moment because they still shockingly only have one MP, and that's Brighton. That has just been the bedrock of the Green Party. And if you've ever been to Brighton, you'll see why, because it's a fucking lovely place. But I want to see them get at least 10 to 15 MPs in the next election, because if they do, they're going to go in the right. They're going in the right direction. But it's not going to happen just yet. It's going to happen after the Tories get annihilated. Maybe not in the next election, because we are probably going to head for hung parliament, but eventually, like a lot of like Greens have kind of propped up. They won a lot of council seats in the last by-election that we just had. Like I think they have now a record 748 councillors in seats, which is bloody incredible. So they
I,
know the tide. They know the tide is coming, and in a generation's time, the right will be wiped out of this country because of the damage the Tories have done.
yeah, I feel that as well, but I do feel that we might probably see these changes at the tail end of our lives. You know,
Yeah, that's fine. I don't really care.
you know,
Like nothing's going to change in our lifetime, but the seeds will be there. There's only, and what cracks me up is when you have like America going after companies like TikTok, and I'm like, it's a good thing if they get rid of TikTok in the States, because the TikTok has done a far better job of pushing far right bullshit than Google and Facebook have. Though Facebook is not that far behind TikTok.
but left wing stuff as well. Like Marianne Williamson has been pushed hardcore because of TikTok. A lot more people know
Yeah,
about her because of TikTok. You know, so left wing
yeah. I mean,
propaganda has also been.
that's the good part. But the bad thing is unfortunately they're getting mass reported and shut down, like Midwest News or Mintpress News or whatever they're called. Midwest Mark and Mintpress News have been banned from TikTok because they just keep getting mass reported, false flags and all this kind of shit to kind of suppress the speech, and that's why they'd rather just get rid of the platform as a whole in America to kind of stop that kind of shit and eliminate the competition. But you can't stem the tide, like you really can't. Like the damage now, there's the news trying to suppress the disaster that's happening. It's impossible. Their compliance is too transparent for them to keep up the facade. So they know that time is ticking, and that only going full blown fascism will work. But it's not as easy to implement it as you think, because you can't profit off of it. You just
I
can't.
think I think as well though that far right individuals will just infiltrate other parties and infest them with their ideologies, and change them into other far right entities that we have right now, like like what's happened to the Labour Party, which was a predominantly left wing party, but it's had so much right wing infestation, since Tony
Yeah,
Blair and so on.
yeah,
You know,
deliberately. Before Tony Blair, we're talking since the 70s, mate. After they lost that election to Thatcher, since then they've just been, actually before that, by design from the
before Neil
establishment.
Kinnock and stuff like that.
Before that, yeah, way before that, it's always been a fucking problem. But there should just be rules. Like if I'm the Greens now, I'll just be like, right, that's it. If you give us any sniff of a hint that you're taking money from fucking private donors, or any hint of being an establishment hack, you're getting suspended from the party. There should be those kind of rules in place. Infiltration's always a thing, but the thing is, this is why I said, and I've said it before, and you can see it's happening little by little. So it's not just the Greens. I said the best way to attack the establishment is to not have one predominant left-wing party. You need multiple left-wing parties. It's harder to control. It's harder to get in there and try and change things. So that's why even Tusk did really well. They didn't get seats and all that, but they're getting votes. They're getting there. Tusk, the SWP, the NIP, all these little left-wing pockets, and within a generation. But what frustrates me is Corbyn frustrates me a lot, because he's too loyal to the Labour Party. All he needs to do is say, fuck this, I'm joining Tusk, or I'm starting a new party. We'll call it the Peace and
Join
Justice
the
Party.
Greens.
The Greens won't have him. They won't have him. They're I champion the Greens, but even they're a little bit iffy. Like they're kind of centre left, which is fine. I'll take that any day of the week compared to what we've got now. But they wouldn't have him. But if I was Corbyn,
Okay.
start your own party and it will just be an unstoppable fucking juggernaut within a decade. Even after he's gone, as long as that party's established, and you have very strict rules that you have to abide by, left-wing ideology, and if you are any kind of a fucking centrist or have a history of a centrist, you're not allowed in the party. Simple as that.
Yeah,
Very
I
strict
fucking hate
rules.
centrists.
But
I
I
hate
can't
centrists
stand them.
because I never met a centrist who wasn't right wing, dude. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know, there's no
Exactly.
such thing as they are proper right wing. They're not centrist whatsoever.
No.
It's just a way of disguising how right wing they are. You
Yeah, the
know?
only difference between them
Oh,
and the right wing is they're just saying, "Yeah, look, I'm not racist,
I
but
don't.
I like all the other stuff."
Yeah, I don't hate gay people, but I like everything else. Yeah, I mean something
Yeah,
along those lines. So yeah, and
exactly.
look, talking about left wing ideology and stuff like that. I am a lefty. I will always be a lefty. Nothing will ever change. But my God, people on our side of the political spectrum, and I've exposed you to this recently, they can be proper fucking killjoys. You know, as lefties, I think people need to know when somebody is truly heinous and bigoted,
Can I
and when
just one
somebody's just
second before you
having a
carry on?
laugh.
I just want to say this is hilarious that you're bringing up subjects that are in the exact order I've put them in my politics column. By the way, because after Rees-Mogg and Starmer, I had overzealous SJWs. That is hilarious. Anyway, carry on. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, that meme. I'm doing that meme. With that
Yeah.
guy who looks like LeVar Burton. Yeah. So if people don't know, I posted the meme of this guy. He's quite heavily obese, and he's standing on top of a water slide, and he goes down the slide, and when he comes out to the other end and hits the water, the picture changes to a massive explosion in the water. Now me, as you can see, and Ginger Greek, we're not slim guys. We're quite fat guys, and we found
Goddamn
this
right.
hilarious. I mean, we found it hilarious. And let's just get this very clear. We don't hate this fat guy. If anything, we applaud this fat guy for putting a smile on our fucking faces. Well done, fat man. You did a very good job. But then when I show this and I post this shit on my social media, I get fellow lefties who people are in line with them politically to a degree, but then they have a go at me for fat shaming. You know, me,
Telling
a
fat
fat guy,
people
for fat shaming.
that we're fat shaming. It's just, and I
Yeah.
know, look, okay, look, the logic is it doesn't matter if you're fat. If you're hating on another fat person, you could call that fat shaming, but nobody's hating on a fat person. It's just a funny editing thing that is part of a joke. And I always say to people, you've got to understand the difference between fat shaming and banter. And this just falls under banter. It's a light bulb, it's hilarious. Don't be so fucking high strung that you feel you have to protect every fucking group from ridicule or banter and all this kind of stuff, because all you do is you just help the opposition garner um more followers, because a lot of people are ideologically very flexible. If their egos are bruised, then they'll happily switch sides just to preserve their own ego, where they can carry on being what they want to be. And that perfectly fits in with Gary's comment here of Bill Maher is a centrist. I don't think he's right wing. And I would say
What the
no.
hell? What the hell, Gary? Seriously,
Bill
what the
Maher
hell?
has gone from center left to fucking right wing in just a flash. Why? Because Trump broke his brain, and he couldn't understand why people voted for him. And then he's getting pushed back by SJWs about some of his stuff. And so he's abandoned his ideology and just aligned himself with the right wing because they're stroking his ego. He sits to have
God,
fucking far right people on his show, and he just fucking jerks them off. And you're telling me that he's a centrist? He's not a
look,
centrist.
I want to get back to Gary's point in a second, but I just want to say regarding what we were saying earlier regarding just having a laugh and a joke at other people's expense, but not necessarily hating on them, which I think is fundamental, because you can be a bigoted person and you can hate on somebody truly because you dislike them, and that's why you hate on them in the first place. But I can, for instance, make fun of somebody and not hate on them. For instance, I've mentioned this before, but there was a picture of Madonna. She's in the 60s now. She's doing lots of Botox and plastic surgery to maintain her youthful look, but she looks absolutely like a joke. She reminds me of those. If you've seen Escape from LA, there's a
Yeah.
scene where with Bruce Campbell and all of those. It looks like fucking Sylvester Stallone's mom and all of that sort of shit.
Yeah.
Like that's what she's turned into, unfortunately, because she's gone over the top with all the procedures to keep herself youthful looking. And
It's
I
just
said that she looked under the system, and I said that she looks like she's been stung by multiple bees, and people, and then I had a lot of my feminist left wing friends have a go at me for making fun of a woman because I come across as sexist or and all of that sort of shit. People are going to interpret me in the wrong way. Well, I can't help that if they do. I mean, I know who I am, and if people know who I am, then you know that I'm just having a laugh here. I don't actually hate Madonna. I've always said Madonna for me is the greatest female musician, singer, songwriter of all time. That makes her one of the greatest singer songwriters, regardless of what their gender may be, of all time. I rate her very highly. At the same time, I'm taking the piss out of her appearance. And then I also mentioned the other day, I'll bring this up again, how I took the piss out of Mickey Rourke saying that he looks like Leatherface. His face looks like Leatherface's mask. You know what I mean?
yeah.
With and
I
but
want to.
he's
I want to just.
without.
I want to jump in
Yeah.
on something there because my argument for the Madonna thing would have been like if she had let herself grow old gracefully without the Botox, none of us would be saying shit about it. But because it looks so fucking ridiculous, we wouldn't be sitting there going, say if like the media old shamed her, for example, saying, "Oh, look at the wrinkles and all that." We wouldn't be doing that kind of shit. We'd be like, "Well, she's 60. She's supposed to look like that." But because she's gone the opposite way to the point where, I mean, you butcher yourself for no reason other than some misconceived notion that there's pressure on you to look youthful forever, which when you're someone like Madonna, you don't fucking need to look young. All right. You don't need to look young. Madonna will sell out fucking everywhere she goes for a concert, no matter what she looks like, because people love her music. Okay. She's had some absolute bangers over the years. Like, her stuff from the 80s. Fucking just happily just whack that
Yeah.
on and listen to it anytime. But every decade, she's got some absolute bangers. And so
Constantly
she just,
reinventing herself and everything.
yeah,
Yeah,
constantly reinventing
she's great.
herself. You know,
She's great.
she's great. She
But
is great.
no, but look, what it is, Ginger. Like people then had to go at me saying, you know, if she doesn't want to grow old gracefully, then she has every right to not to grow, and that's a fair point. But at the same time, she is in the public eye, and I can't help but notice. And I told people, look, this is what I thought of. This is the first thought that came in my head when I saw her. I appreciate you saying that she doesn't have to grow old gracefully, but when I see her face, this is the thought that popped in my head, that she looked like she's been stung by 1,000 bees. So I can't, you're asking me not to think that, but I couldn't help but think that.
Yeah.
And so I commented on it, and then I get shit for it. Whilst no one cared about the comment I made about Mickey Rourke looking like Leatherface with the mask on. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? No
Exactly.
one cares about that because I'm taking the piss out of a guy, but I take the piss out of a woman, and people think that I'm being sexist because I'm making fun of somebody of a different sex. I'm not. I respect Madonna so fucking much, but I just couldn't help but say what I said about her appearance because that's the thought that came in my mind. I don't hate Madonna. I genuinely don't. It's just like people on my side of the political spectrum, they can be really harsh to us, which is why there's so much infighting among the left because they don't know when to fucking just let things lie and know
Yeah,
that
they try to police every
yeah
little thing,
yeah
micromanage every little thing so it fits their ideology. And this is why I always say to people on the left, I say, forget the social stuff because people are going to have different views on different things on a social aspect. Although in general they may be supportive, you might get certain areas where people don't agree on. and I said, forget about the arts. The art targeting the arts is a complete waste of time. Okay. Everything that the left should be focused on is on economic change. And if everyone did that, okay, we'd be a powerhouse. But they're so easily distracted with jangling keys and Twitter fucking going crazy over fucking what's going on in the arts that it's like trying to herd cats. You know what I mean? And this is where I get frustrated. So when when a friend of mine sends me a DM about some kind of
Hello for
this
your
group
friend.
of black people, are outraged about this, or this group of white people are outraged. I'm like, I don't fucking care. People are outraged over casting and the arts and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like, look, sometimes you want to be a purist with certain things, but most of the time, that's not the argument here. And when it's the only thing you concentrate on, it's just like, well, it to me, it just says that you're just a fucking you're performative leftist, which meaning that you don't actually know politics. You just know what you're being told to know, which is to fucking defend like marginalized groups and put representation in the arts rather than on a political level, where if you change the socio-economic aspect of it, everything else falls into place. So you need to think bigger picture, not be like a right winger who can only deal with single issues. And that's what we need to abandon. And it's getting there. It is actually getting there, because the insanity of like the Twitterverse going full blown crazy with SJW stuff has died down, because now everyone's so fucking poor. They're just like, all right, we actually do need to focus on socio-economic stuff and put everything else on the back burner. Because even like,
Look,
yeah, go on.
Like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Hey, funeral.
Can't stand the woman. Hello, the funeral. Can't stand Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think she's a despicable human being. Hate her so much. I also think that she looks very masculine. So I didn't write this out because I was worried I was going to get a lot of shit for this. But I just wrote in Twitter, Marjorie Taylor Greene looks trans. Yeah. And I wrote that on Twitter, yeah. Marjorie Taylor MTG looks trans. And then I found a ton of posts from fellow lefties like me who all said the same fucking thing. That she, you know, I was the only one. I wasn't the only one who was thinking this, but I do know,
because they know it's a good strategy of attack.
But
to paint her in the same negative brush as she does trans people.
Because like a lot of these right wingers were going on about how fucking Michelle Obama's a man, you know, and all of that sort of shit. I'm not sure if you remember all of that.
I remember,
you know,
yeah.
But I know Marjorie Taylor Greene is not a trans person, but she looks quite masculine in her face. You know, she's got quite a masculine physique. She works out quite hardcore.
She does that fucking CrossFit shite.
She looks like a trans person. I don't hate trans people, as everyone knows. I fucking love trans women. I've fucked trans women. You know what I mean? I'm all in on trans women. I would fucking go out with one in a fucking heartbeat. But Marjorie Taylor Greene looks fucking trans. Now, am I shitting on trans people by saying that? I'll leave it up to everyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll leave that one to everyone else. But that's what I'm saying. You know, that's how I feel, and that's how she looks. And it is a kind of an insult, but I don't mean it to be towards trans people, more towards her, because she hates trans people herself.
Yeah, you're playing against their against their weakness, basically, or towards their weakness, which is basically calling them the very thing that they hate and all this, which her and who was it, Lauren Boebert, who were fucking championing marriage and all this kind of shit, and they're both divorced their husbands, cheated on them, and all this kind
Lauren
of shit.
Boebert's a fuck. Look, and this is the thing. I don't care. You know, I fuck prostitutes all the time. I don't care that you used to be a prostitute, and Lauren Boebert was a prostitute, but you know now she's playing this conservative family values mama. You know what I mean? When she herself was selling her fucking ass to people like Ted Cruz. You know, so they're hypocrites. They all are. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So moving on to another white supremacist, Laura Ingraham. there are rumors flying around that she's going to get fired from Fox News, um, which is happy, happy, joy, joy. However,
She looks trans as well, by the way. I've always thought she was a lesbian. She's got that
yeah, I
look about
actually
her.
thought she was a lesbian, but maybe she
Yeah,
is. She just doesn't want to admit it. But
yeah,
yeah, Laura Ingraham, the OG white supremacist on TV, is
yeah.
reportedly getting fired from Fox News. I haven't seen official confirmation yet, but I'm starting to think to myself now with Tucker Carlson gone, with Laura Ingraham gone, and all this kind of shit. This could play in the hands of the like far right news companies like Newsmax and not Breitbart. What was the other one? Um,
OAN,
OAN and the
OAN,
one that fucking Ben
Newsmax,
Shapiro
OAN.
works
Oh,
with.
Daily Wire.
That's it, Daily Wire and all this kind of shit. Because they could hire those people and just help boost their fucking numbers and leave Fox a relic. So yeah, Fox doing this is actually to their detriment. The same thing that happened with because now that Tucker Carlson's gone,
You
they
think?
hemorrhage. Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
Fox
but
News is
like
hanging
the
on by a
king,
string, mate.
I look at it as the king is dead, long live the king, and Bill O'Reilly left, Glenn Beck came in, Glenn Beck left, Tucker Carlson came in. Yeah, there's always going to be a successor,
Yeah,
you
but
know.
Tucker Carlson was doing better numbers than the predecessors. He was like their most watched presenter, and since he's gone, they just not clawing those viewers back and getting rid of Laura Ingraham as well. This is a death knell. CNN and Fox News will be lucky to survive the next five
Why are
six
they getting
years.
rid of Laura Ingraham?
Probably tied to the whole because she kind of helped push the conspiracy of January 6th, and the
They all
election was
fucking did.
stolen. I know they all did.
They all,
Yeah,
probably under
yeah,
Rupert Murdoch's fucking was telling them to fucking do it in the first
yeah.
place. But
But
now
his son,
he's gone anti-Trump.
yeah, his son who
Yeah.
kind of runs Fox News and all this, he's on a warpath now because it's probably cost cutting. It could be just cost cutting measures as well, because obviously
Yeah,
700 and
losing a billion
half
quid.
half a billion
Yeah,
and all
three
that.
quarters of a billion.
Eh?
More
Yeah, they'll
like three
get
quarters of a
250
billion.
of that written
Yeah,
off,
yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, after all that, they're probably just looking to cut costs because these people were earning fucking stupid money. Was Tucker on like 100 million a year or something crazy like that?
It was crazy money, 70
Crazy
million
fucking
maybe,
money. So
but
it could be
yeah,
cost cutting measures as well.
not like he needed it, but he's a heiress of a frozen food company. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
um,
exactly. Exactly.
apparently CNN is barely hanging on after the Trump town hall too. Now, this is like watching Carl Kowinski, who does the Secular Talk channel on YouTube. He said it best. Like CNN had an opportunity to go proper left, but no, they didn't. They went full on right when there's already lots of competition now on the right when it comes to news channels, and people already have an opinion of what CNN is. They're not going to fucking go to it now just
yeah,
because
yeah,
because they heard that things have changed. Yeah, they think
yeah.
CNN is
Now
fake
that
news. Donald Trump, yeah.
now that CNN is owned by a fucking Trump supporter,
Mm-hmm.
it's just it's no point. And CNN will go and good. Fuck it. Like legacy media dies out, we all benefit. Like over here in the UK, the Sun is hemorrhaging money. Like it's making losses, so it's just propped up by Rupert Murdoch to carry on peddling. And a lot of right wing institutions are just funded by billionaires to keep the message alive. But in reality, they're not making money. The kind of left wing model, which is like your subscriber based, model of sustainability, like Novara Media, like Secular Talk. I know Breaking Point has like both sides of the political spectrum and all this kind of stuff. But all those kind of people, they're showing the more sustainable model is reliant on its subscribers and not sponsorships and all this. So they don't get the message dictated and what they can and cannot put out there. And that is the future. That is the future media. That's how media is going to survive in general. Um, it's not. It can't survive on say ad revenue and all this kind of shit, peddling pro establishment message because people aren't buying it. Just see what the chat is. Yeah, I like Carl, but he'll interrupt a 20-second video 10 times with his comments. Just let me watch. Yeah, the recent change.
Sam Seed is the worst for that.
The recent change of style that Carl has done, I fucking hate it. Before, he'll just play the video and then talk about it afterwards. Now he does a watch along, but that's what he does. He cuts off, he talks for ages, plays a video, cuts it off, talks. I hate that style. I hate that style with a passion. I hate any channel that does it. It's why I don't watch things like that on Twitch. Just play the fucking video. So if I've already seen it, I can skip the video, and I just want to hear your opinion on it. That's why I love Farron Cousins, who does Farron Balanced and
Ring of Fire.
Ring of Fire.
Makes me laugh a lot, but I just get that name makes me laugh.
Yeah,
I think of like arsehole ring piece.
Also, yeah. And I like his style because he doesn't even bother playing video clips at all. Very rarely will he do that, and that's great because we've all seen the clips. So I just want to see his opinion. And that's why I prefer his style. Was Carl Kalinske.
Jesse Dollarmore is not too bad.
But who?
Jesse Dollarmore. He goes, he's somebody you might have to look up as well. I love David Pakman, by the way. I don't agree with him on the Israel stuff. I generally don't. He's a bit biased on that. But I fucking love David Pakman. He's got such a great dry wit about him.
Is that the Rational National guy?
No, that's David Pakman, Midweek Politics. David Pakman. David Pakman is massive, man. Rational National.
I know David Pakman. I'm just trying to put the face to it.
And the Humanist
yes,
Report
it just came to me. Yeah. It just came to me. Humanist Report.
No, Humanist is somebody else. But David Pakman, just type in David Pakman.
Yeah, I see his face now. I know. Yeah, as soon as I was typing it, I got it.
Mate, he was talking to this geezer. He was talking to this geezer who is anti-vax and was telling people to drink their own fucking urine. Yeah. And how he would inject the urine into his muscle. And this guy was a proper Christian fundamentalist as well. Trump supported a lot. And the way he fucking took the piss out of him, the pun intended, was great. And like I said, David Pakman, his stuff on Israel can be a bit annoying because you can tell he's quite biased. Nobody is perfect. Like even Carl Kalinske, like the way he fucking still swoons over fucking Joe Rogan. It's a fucking joke. He's still a Joe Rogan simp.
Who is
Carl Kalinske?
Carl Kalinske. That's because he's friends with Joe Rogan, but it does call Joe Rogan out on his stuff. Not enough, but
yeah. And I'll tell you also as well, the fact that Carl is banging Crystal Ball.
They're married, mate.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they're married.
Mate. Crystal Ball is fucking fine. You know what I mean? And I have to credit him for that alone because I've always had the hots for her. You know what I mean? And he fucking lucked out big time with that one, big time. So.
Yeah. I'm not really. Her voice just irritates the shit out of me. I respect her and she's brilliant and I watch her, but I couldn't have that voice in a relationship. That Valley Girl voice, I'll just be like, oh, kill me now.
Yeah.
But
Sorry, go on. There's a whole bunch of like YouTubers. A lot of people dislike. I still watch because genuinely I feel like we're all on the right. You mentioned how we're policing ourselves too much on the left. It's the same with these YouTubers as well. I personally still watch the Young Turks. I know when I think they're wrong on certain things, and fair enough. But a lot of these times, these people, Rational National, Humanist Report, David Pakman, Carl Kalinske, Young Turks, and various other ones as well, we tend to all be on the same side for majority of the things. You know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely.
Even me and you, Joe, we have our differences as well on certain things. But I think we all pretty much are on the same path when it comes to what's right, what's not right, and yada yada. For majority of things.
I think for me, it depends how. So the ones that I don't follow anymore, like the Young Turks and Sam Cedar and all that, it's how they react when they get called out, for example. And again, Jimmy Dore, another one who I don't follow anymore.
I don't
Conf-
follow Jimmy Dore. He's a
no,
fucking dickhead.
he's a fucking idiot. But he was right about push the vote thing, and everyone attacked him for him. And then that's when the Young Turks got backed into a corner and got proven to be wrong on this instance. What did they do? They did the most disgusting thing that a lot of that is so fucking typical of the right wing to do, and that was they made up a fake scandal that was the Jimmy Don and Anna Kasparian thing. All right, and they tried to shame him with that. And Jimmy, to his credit, he says, "Yes," he goes, "I admit it, but that was sorted at the time, and I apologized like unrelentingly about it and all this kind of shit." And they still try to peddle the lie that he was a sexual pervert and a deviant and all that just because he made one single comment. Because Kasparian was wearing a short skirt when she bent over, her ass was exposed, and he made a comment which he shouldn't have, and he acknowledges he shouldn't have made the comment. And he said that was buried down. That was years before everything. And then now they're trying to weaponize that against him to silence him. And when that all came out, I was just like, you know what? The Young Turks actually have a history of doing this, where when they're backed into a corner, they start to fucking lie like nothing, just like right wingers do. And it's just like, no, fuck these guys. And they did it recently when Anna uh, talks about like the certain terminology that people use with trans people and all this kind of stuff. And instead of just saying, look, I personally want to be called a woman, don't call me a birth giver or whatever, but I acknowledge this and this, they just carried on and they dug themselves into a bigger hole.
No, look, this is where
You
we're
know,
going to disagree now. I saw all of that, and I really felt that I thought and I'm in the minority on this one, funny enough, but I thought like the response from people like some sort of transphobe was ridiculous.
no,
Like
I defended her on that. She's not like people that called
yeah,
her that. One second, Gary. The people that called her that was ridiculous. What I'm saying is, don't keep digging your hole. Just say, look, don't fucking call me a birth giver or whatever the term was. You call me a fucking woman. End of discussion. I'm a trans ally through and through. I always have been. But don't ever call me this. You call me a woman, and that's it. And that's where they could have ended the conversation. But they fucking went down this stupid rabbit hole, and both sides pissed me off on this one as well because nobody looked into her history. And but it would have been better off just saying nothing in this instance and just had an argument with the person that fucking called her that without bringing it up on the media, because everything's so volatile at the moment. You've got to pick your battles, and that wasn't something worth bringing up.
yeah.
But yeah, Gary.
Yeah, I saw that as well. It's just like, well, to be honest with you, like she's an idiot. Let's just be brutally honest with you, because like, look, the thing is, the people who use that are not people just around everywhere. It's used in a medical sense. So she's a fucking twat and an idiot, right? And I'll explain why. Right, it's used in medical circles because because not every person who's a birthing person is a woman. Some people are trans men and still have their either their fallopian tubes or still have their the uterus or something like that, or will still have aspects of that. So that's why they use the word birthing person, so it's more medically accurate. Nobody in actual real life uses that outside of a medical thinking, and that's what annoyed me with the fact that she was like seeing that this was some sort of widespread problem when it isn't. It's just a medical noise for a medical thing. That's all it is.
I agree, and I like, this is what I mean. Like they dug a bigger hole, and they shouldn't have said anything on Twitter. When when you know the environment that you're in, this was something that could have just been brought up between her and whoever may have called her that or mentioned that at the time. But they didn't see the bigger picture of terminology in that regard. But she could have easily said to anyone that said that to her, I was like, just call me a fucking woman, and that's it. If you want to use that term for other people, it's perfectly fine with me. I don't mind. But for me, I want to be called a woman. blah 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 blah. But to bring it out on Twitter, and then it just got worse and worse and worse. It's just like, it's how people react. The point is, it's not that, it's how they react to when being called out. And Jimmy Dore and the Young Turks and Sam Seed and all these kind of people are like petulant fucking children whose ego's taken a battering and they won't shut up about it. For as bad as I call out the Young Turks on the incident that happened with Jimmy Dore, where they tried to literally smear him, Jimmy Dore, once he's got blood with somebody, bad blood with somebody, and that's everyone because he has no loyalty to anyone who disagrees with him, like he falls out of them instantly, especially over COVID. Like he died on the COVID hill because his core audience are all right wingers, and so he couldn't be shown to be pro-vax or pro certain statistics, and he died on that hill, and that's what buried him in the end. But if he has a beef with somebody, he never shuts up about it. Like it'll be 10 years later and everyone's moved on and he'll still fucking jib, jab, and jibe about individuals he's had an argument with because his ego is more fragile than anyone else's ego. And just, I mean, imagine like being a person that's had the jab and then goes on a massive anti-vax championing fucking journey just to keep your viewers happy.
He's had the jab, hasn't he?
He's had the jab. He's had the jab.
Every right-wing influencer, maybe barring Stephen Crowder, who says he hasn't, but I think he might have. I mean, I know, what's her name? Candace Owens said that she only had one shot, but she's very likely to have had two because some of the events she was attending where you need to have two. And everyone in Fox News and all these other media outlets had the fucking jab, but they are promoting anti-vax shit. And even Donald Trump, the only time he ever started to lose his own supporters is when he was promoting the fucking vaccine.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. The one thing he was doing right, the people hated him for it. It's incredible. It's just
like, crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
but to be honest with you, there's a lot of centrists who were who are behind like the anti-vax stuff as well. Like for example,
Bill they're right wing. They're not centrist. They're right wing.
But I mean, well, Bill Maher says he's not right wing. So, but
he is right wing.
He
is right wing. Watch anything. Hang on. Watch anything that he talks about now. He's a full blown right winger. He even has far right people on his show now, and he blows them. So he is a right winger.
Like Elon Musk. Oh my god, the way he blew Elon Musk was a joke.
Exactly. I mean? So
regarding wokeism, like I remember when you're talking to Elon Musk, like Elon Musk was having a go saying that there was more to George Washington than just being a slave owner. Apparently he brought freedom, yet he still owned fucking slaves. It doesn't, like he's having a personal war with the British because he wants his own freedom, but he fucking owned people himself.
It was freedom for the rich. It was never freedom for the fucking poor. Because like if you own
freedom
land,
for the whites, vote. Not for the blacks.
Yeah, it's just
and so like Elon Musk is having a go at wokeism apparently like that because when people talk about George Washington, they mention that he's a slave owner, and he says, well, the reason I have a problem with wokeism, well, there's more to George Washington than that. But
I mean, you're talking to a guy who profited off of apartheid.
So, well, look,
of course he's going to champion George Washington.
Jeffrey Dahmer was a mass murderer who ate his victims. But you know what? There's more to Jeffrey Dahmer than that. He was a painter and a clown.
But look, there's nothing wrong with people saying look, this person helped found our country, but also he had these character flaws. There's nothing wrong.
Dude, that country wasn't his. That country wasn't his to find in the first place. People were already.
No, but what we do is that he's 83. He was one of the founding fathers, right? There's nothing wrong with saying that and saying he had tremendous character flaws. It's like,
all fucking great, all great lead. Like people fucking suck off Winston Churchill, but the guy was a fucking genocidal maniac and a massive racist.
Yeah,
it was human dog shit. And you'll never catch a fucking Greek person ever champion fucking Churchill, even despite what he said, like, today we fight like Greeks or all that kind of shit. We're like, yeah, stick that up your ass, mate. You caused the fucking civil war in Greece where thousands of people got massacred, all because you were scared of communism. It's just like, fuck that guy. My grandmother always said it best. She goes, the English smile at you while they put a knife in your back. And that was because of what the British did to Greece after World War II. But nobody fucking talks about it in this country. So
that's why I say I never trust somebody who smiles all the fucking time. Your grandma's right. I mean, never ever trust somebody who smiles all the fucking time. They are the most disingenuous backstabbers, literally, you'll ever come across. They'll take it all away from you with a smile on their fucking face.
The best. This is why you know when like all these fucking misogynist wankers talk about women and this resting bitch face and all this kind of shit. I'm like, yeah, I trust her more than the fucking smiling psychopath that is always happy. Because I'm like,
that's our prime minister.
Yeah, because you've made a lot of fucking people. You've made a lot of fucking people miserable. And that's why you're smiling, because you are satisfied with the hell you've caused. And that's why I only trust people with like have a miserable look on their face, because I'm like, you know that the world's a piece of shit, and so I know to trust you. That's a lie, by the way. I'm just over exaggerating, but you know.
Oh, by the way, this comment made me laugh. Ever read?
I love that. I think of a Matthew McConaughey movie when you say Ring of Fire, and both of you are like, "Yeah, asshole thing." I regret my search. My next search, aren't I?
Do you see what it means to be British and not American?
Yeah.
Because, we're thinking about fucking.
We go double entendre, and you go logical, kind of. But that's Rain of Fire, by the way. You're thinking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I tell these guys, like, if I had too much spicy food and too much chili sauce and stuff like that, how I've taken 4 shits like within the space of 4 hours because it's burning a hole. And my ring's on fire and stuff like that. I tell them, I'm very open about it. They probably don't want to hear it, which is why I tell them in the first place.
Because it burns. Sorry.
Yeah. Listen, it's like when somebody challenged me to eat a chicken, a fowl, hottest fucking thing you can have on an Indian menu and all of that. And I had it, and it was hell on earth. But the next day was even worse. Because what my mouth went through, my arsehole went through 10 times worse. And that's why I'll never fucking touch another one again. I don't care about my mouth burning and all this kind of shit. It's the aftermath that I don't want. With spicy food, So, yeah. Ring of Fire, fucking Jesus Christ.
And, look, regarding stuff like just going on to food, like stuff like curries, which are like vindaloos, I despise them now. There's spiciness, and then there's heat, And for me, when the food is so hot that your tongue gets neutralized, that's not good. It
ruins the meal.
Yeah, you're sweating and you're burning through it, and you're thinking to yourself, you can hardly taste the food anymore. I like spicy, which is hot, but doesn't neutralize your tongue. And vindaloos do that. I can't stand them. I genuinely can't stand them because it's not enjoyable food.
Let's be honest. A lot of the times when you're going down the vindaloo route or the hot spicy stuff, what's to do it in front of your mates to make yourself look like a big man, kind of thing.
That's what my cousins did.
Yeah, that's what I would do a lot of the time. But as I've gotten older, I'm just like, well, no, because one bite of that, my mouth's just going to go numb. I'm not going to enjoy my fucking meal. I'm going to sit there going, all this kind of shit, and I'm going to look like a fucking idiot.
Drink,
Yeah. I mean, you reach the spice level that you like, and then you're like, that's me. I'm happy there. I don't need to fucking prove to anyone. I've eaten the hottest shit you can imagine here. I know there's hotter shit you can have. But I'm just saying, Gary, sorry, go on. Yes, Jeff, it does. Jeff, they tried to use Ring of Fire in a hemorrhoid cream commercial, but Johnny Cash said absolutely not. You can Google that.
Oh man, Johnny, what are you doing?
Yeah, but I mean, it's like there is some sauces where it is really nice tasting, but it is hot, but it's not super hot. It's not like take the roof off your mouth off and you can't taste it for next week hot. It's just more like there's a gentle spice, like because actually I'm a big fan of like spicy kind of like because I'm a huge chicken wing fan. Like I love chicken wings and like
Fuck yeah, love chicken wings.
I'd like I don't know about yourselves, but like I like kind of like the Nashville kind of hot. That's like as hot as I go. Because I do know there's like stuff like because there's a chicken shop in Manchester called what the hell's it called now? It's a very famous. It's one that we've got. Anyway, it doesn't matter what it's called. It's got a flavour called Hotter Than the Sun. It literally how anybody eats that. You got to eat. I don't know because it's literally like eat 10. I literally I was in the queue. Joe, this was just after COVID. Just to have some because I've not had any for a while. And this guy was talking about how he'd eaten one, and he said, "Oh, I told my girlfriend I'm not having it anymore because last time I had one, I ended up in a hospital." so
Bloody
like,
hell.
yeah.
That's
so
what I mean. I would never. There's no point ever getting myself to that fucking state. You know, ever, not ever again. I never ended up in hospital after eating spicy food, but. It's just like I want to eat to enjoy, and I'm with you guys on that. It's you get to a nice level that you know that you like, and that's it. I don't need to go any higher. There's nothing to prove.
Which is why I avoid jalapenos. By the way, now as much as I love jalapenos, I have to avoid them now because I know the next day, that's it, man. I will feel like I've been raped by my own shit. You know what I mean?
Oh god, that's something we need to meme.
yeah. That's not going well on the algorithm
because I am sitting on that toilet in like this, like oh my god, what's just happened to me? You know what I mean? Like cold shivers and shit like that. Yeah, my arsehole fucking killing me. Yeah, you know what I mean?
God, on a jalapeno.
On jalapenos do that to me,
Wow.
and I'm walking back, you know, because this sensation has woken me up from my sleep, and so I'm walking back like butt clenched, like Edward Norton from fucking God, what's that movie where he gets raped in the prison? American History X. I'm walking back like that, you know what I mean? Back to my bed because it's just absolutely killed.
Demonetized
now. You know what I mean? Yeah.
We are so demonetized.
But I tell you what, if I was champion something of what drink wise, not food wise, do you know what I'd bring back? And maybe you guys remember this drink. It's called the Mutts Nuts. It's basically like hooch, but it had.
Yeah, I remember the Mutts Nuts.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was like hooch, but it was actually nice to taste in the hooch. It was actually really nice.
Mate,
I don't know.
Hooch.
Was it like a hooch drink then?
Yeah.
I remember the name, but I never had it.
It had on the front of it, and this is probably why it didn't sell too well. It had a picture of a pair of dog's balls on the very front of it.
That's right, yeah.
And it was actually really nice. It was more than nice tasting the hooch, because hooch is a bit sugary for me, but this was actually really nice, more lemon.
Hooch,
I drank. Find hooch in it.
Mate, I drank.
I can't find it.
Yeah, no, back in the day, I God knows, I drank like 20 or more than that in the night, and I didn't even get a fucking buzz out of that. That has to be like the biggest fake marketing ever of being an alcoholic drink. So it's a pile of pish. I could drink half a bottle of 2020 and be absolutely fucked out of my face at that age. You boys must remember MD 2020.
Yeah, of course I do. Man.
No. The worst drink I ever had in my entire life, and how people get away with selling this, I do not know, is you guys might have had this Kestrel Strupers.
Kestrel.
That's thing.
Yeah. It has the same consistency and the same taste as tar.
That's the homeless man's fucking beer.
Yeah, homeless man's drink.
I mean,
I've drunk. I had a couple of
alcoholic drink.
One of my bits going, put hairs in your chest. What? Literally, it's like the most horrible thing I've ever put in my mouth.
I don't like beer at all. There's only two beers I can kind of enjoy. Maybe three. That's Amstel, Heineken, and Greek beer Mythos.
Have you been to Germany?
I've been to Germany loads of times. I love it.
Have you had the beer? The beer there is just another level, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the beer there was nice,
it's
but
not watered down.
I'm just not a big fan of beer to the point where that's my go-to drink.
Look, I'm with you too.
I've enjoyed my beers in Germany for sure, and in Greece. Not here.
I'm with you. I'm with you too. I'm with you too because I don't really go for beers that much either. I could have a pint, but I'm not really much of a beer guy myself. But when I was in Germany, I had a beer and I thought, wow, this is fucking amazing. You know, I had all these different types of beers. They weren't watered down, but I didn't really realize that. I just thought that maybe I'm liking beer because I'm in Germany, the land of beer. But as soon as I went back to England, I ordered myself a pint. I had one sip and I spat it out. But I thought, what the fuck is this?
It's everything's watered down in this fucking country. Like
fucking watered down Peroni.
Yeah, people don't fucking realize what a jip we get with alcohol in this fucking country. And like I'm when I was in Hong Kong, and we were at a bar, and one night this bar was short staffed, really busy. So me and my cousin, who were fucking half drunk at the time, helped the bar staff out with collected plates and glasses and all of that, just because we felt bad for them because they were really nice people. The next day we go back, the manager's like, right, these guys drink for free from now on. And so they introduced us to a drink called caipirinha. It's a very popular drink now. You know, you're getting like this much fucking rum and then this much of everything else. Then we come back to the UK and we ordered it. Me and my cousin ordered it as a kind of throwback to our holiday. And we get a fucking cup this big with like this much fucking rum. And it's watered down with like fucking Sprite and all the other shit. It was like £9. It's like, we just get fucking ripped off for alcohol in this country.
It's everything. It's like when you have a mojito and you think to yourself, they're just rampacking with fucking ice and leaves and lemon slice and shit. You know how much fucking alcohol is in there when you're fucking drinking it from the glass. You almost suck it. You're sucking the drink out because there's so much shit. There's so much shit in the fucking glass.
Because these idiots follow the fucking UK measurements, which for cocktails, that's not what it is everywhere else. Like even when I went to America and I said, oh, can I have a shot of whiskey, please? It's not a UK shot of whiskey, which is like 25 mil. It's a fucking cup like this. That's a shot of whiskey. All right. It's about 150 mil or something like that. It's a big shot. And I just looked at this drink and I was just like, because Hong Kong and America were back-to-back trips, I was just like, this is what really fucking pissed me off about this country. And it kind of put me on the roads towards being sober. Because I was just like, I'm not going to get ripped off drinking in this country when I don't need alcohol to have a good time anyway. I could just fucking drive to a location, park up my car, have a great time, just have a fizzy drink, go home, whatever, and all this kind of shit. And that's what put me on the road to just quitting drinking, because it was just the prices were ridiculous. And because I don't drink beer and I prefer cocktails, you just get fucked on cocktails because the measurements are pathetic. So, yeah. I might have a drink. So, go on, Gary.
I drink IPAs, and I occasionally will drink a cocktail or two. I'm not really supposed to drink IPAs. I'm supposed to be like on like shots at the moment, but with the measurement, I'm with you. The measurements are shit.
They're shit.
Especially even here. I mean, like I live in bloody Glasgow, and even there to like it's a bit tight-fisted with the flaming portions. Please do not sell me people from Glasgow. But it's actually the same. It's like, for fuck's sake, give me a full glass full. I'm paying like £7 for
fucking. And they want to charge you like £5 for that. It's like, get fucked. Vance, what do you mean by this? I'm down the rabbit hole of UK drink units right now. All I wanted to know what the average percent COOH in a beer. Is that supposed to say alcohol?
Alcohol per volume, basically.
Oh, alcohol per volume.
Okay, fair enough.
The average in the UK is about 5%. All right, Brokistan.
It depends. It depends what the beer is. Like IPAs is higher because it's like a different brewing process.
Yeah.
I drink IPAs.
But your lager is about 5%. Your IPA is about 7 or 8%. Your bitters. What are your bitters? What's the average alcohol unit on a bitter? I don't know. Gary, you fucking frozen?
No.
Oh, right.
Look, Pakistan, Ed's got the new guy here. Let's just entertain him by saying the world's got insane. Yep. You ever think about gnomes? When I'm playing Hearthstone, there are gnomes in it. The little fairy tale people.
I think about teabagging gnomes all the time.
mate, we're fucking British. We know what fucking gnomes are. You know what I mean? So
They are true. They are true.
like you're guaranteed to find maybe one in every 3 or 4 Brits have a gnome in their front garden.
Yeah, mate. Did they take your underpants?
Yeah. You're talking about the ones from Start.
Yeah, did they take
South
your
Park.
underpants?
Yes.
Phase 1,
Yes, I saw
get
them.
the pants. Phase 2, phase 3, profit.
So,
how
did you know?
you know?
Because I'm a man of knowledge. I know the world better than the world knows itself.
Because he's fucking Greek. That's why.
Because I'm Greek. We know
he's
everything.
the fucking ginger Greek.
That's
So,
right. We know everything.
Okay.
I do like the name Pakistan. Cool name.
Yeah, go on, Gary.
Sorry, Gary.
So no, sorry. I mean, what? So do you guys have got anything else in politics we want to talk about?
Unless you want to talk about anything, I'm pretty much tapped out on.
No, I was going to bring up sport. I was going to bring up sports, but
yeah, go for it.
All right. So did you guys? I think that you watched some of it anyway. The KSI type things.
The boxing.
Are you talking about the boxing stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that. I watched the KSI
Wings of
match
Redemption
against
versus Boogie 2988.
Oh god! I mean,
look,
I'm
that
not
was
the
great.
fittest. I'm not the fittest man in the entire universe, but even I'm in better physical shape than those two twats.
Mate, you couldn't have put 2 bigger cunts in a ring. Like them two are just fucking has-beens from a bygone era.
I thought Boogie had lost a lot of weight. I thought he generally anyway.
He did, but he's put on some weight as well, and he was only ever going to be able to lose a certain amount of weight. Beyond that, yeah. But yeah, he was slimmer than what he was there, but he's put some on. That's those are the risks you take with massive surgeries like that.
Yes, we have mole people, but yeah, that boxing match was actually not as good as I wanted it to be. Seeing these 2 humongous chuds fighting each other,
yeah, but
and they only had 1 minute rounds.
They're going to get gassed in like 5 minutes flat or something.
No, but the point is that Boogie didn't put up a fight. He was getting whacked. He was getting beat. He was getting beaten up. So
he was just getting slapped silly. It was just fucking. It was just embarrassing to watch 2 cretins slap each other in a ring.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to elaborate on that?
But regarding that KSI fight, I watched that, and I have to say, I thought KSI was going to get the shit beaten out of him. I genuinely did. He was fighting a boxer who was a professional fighter who was 9-0, and so I thought, wow, this is going to be a tough test because some of the people KSI has fought before, they're jokes. They're absolute jokes. So now he's fighting a proper fighter. And KSI
did he lose
won,
or win? I don't know. I didn't see.
He did win.
He won, but what he did was, I'll demonstrate.
He hit him with the elbow.
He went like that and hit him with the elbow, literally across the bush, and literally the guy dropped.
Great, well done. And they didn't get fucking disqualified for that.
Nope. He called it as a knockout.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, well, the referee didn't see it. By the way, I just happened to have a Doctor Strange shirt. It's the only Doctor Strange shirt I got, mate. Dude, for real now, I have a real question. Would you rather clap some flat, unattractive human cheek or some nice, thick, juicy monkey cheese? Oh, monkey cheeks.
I'm going for monkey cheeks all day long, man. I want some cushion to my pushing. I don't care if there's a bit of hair on there.
Are you taking drugs at the moment? Are you like coke or something? What the hell are you talking about?
He probably is, yeah.
No, it's just a troll. Well, we're just amused. We have fun.
For instance, like that dickhead Andrew Tate. He before he became anti-trans, he actually said, I think in 2021, he made that comment up about saying, who would you rather fuck, a trans woman who's a 10 or a real woman who's a 1? And then he described the trans woman being like Megan Fox with a dick, and or the woman being Hulk Hogan.
All the jokes are over your head. They really aren't. And to answer Broxton, I'm pissed, and I'm literally drunk. I'm about 4 or 5 drinks deep at the moment. So trust me, the jokes are going in my head. I'm just drunk. So
do you see it? But the point is, like, he was actually saying this guy who is homophobic and now transphobic, he was saying back then that he would fuck the Megan Fox with a dick, over Hulk Hogan with a pussy.
I mean, who wouldn't? You know what I mean?
But yeah, who wouldn't? You know what I mean? But he seemed to have gotten away with that. For some reason, like you would have thought something like that would bury him amongst all his incel fanboys would bury him over that, because how dare he want to fuck a trans woman? He should only keep that to himself and masturbate over trans porn like the rest of us do. I mean, he shouldn't. He shouldn't be open about it. So yeah. Have I ever been to the zoo? Well, my best mate used to work in the zoo, so on a handful of occasions, I got family.
Is Ray not working there anymore? Where's he gone now?
Oh, unfortunately, because of COVID, the tourism industry got hit hardest, and so he got made redundant. So he's now living in this area called Hanover, which is not in Germany, which I keep telling people is in between London and Southampton. It's a little village. His late grandma was living there. He was living with his late grandma, but she's passed now herself, and he's still living in the same house. But he's training. He's got a driving job now, but he's training to be a driving instructor. Have a nice evening.
I was going to be
Brokistan, follow us on YouTube, mate. Nerdtube on YouTube. We are the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of, my friend. And I promise you, I'll give you some monkey cheeks, baby. All right. So
yeah, I want to wrap it up there anyway, because I'm going to go back to playing Zelda now, and we've done our 2 hours.
Actually, that's something that we need to talk about. Zelda, how you enjoying that?
Oh, I love it. Fucking love it. I clocked in God knows how many hours, and I've barely touched I've barely touched the game. I think I'm just under halfway through now, and it's been over a week that I've been playing it, but I just enjoy mucking about on it. It's just almost perfect. There's 2 flaws in it, apart from the weapon degradation and all of that. But the 2 biggest flaws is the combat is shit in it. I don't like the combat with the enemies. It's unresponsive and it needs overhauling. Oh, fuck's sake! It needs overhauling, and the camera. Like, it's always Nintendo always have a problem with cameras in their game, camera placement in their games. But other than that, it's fucking great. I would say to people, buy a Nintendo Switch just for that game.
Right, because this is what I'm sorry, go ahead, Sam.
So Disney has hands on the 10-episode Alien vs. Predator anime series that they don't plan on releasing, because something like that would be beyond the PG certificate, and they can't do that. I mean, I'm just taking the piss. You know what I mean? But you can't make an anime Alien vs. Predator without having people being killed or face huggers and aliens coming out of your chest. I mean, that's going to have to happen at some point. And if Disney own the rights to that, then they're fucked, aren't they? You know what I mean?
Disney will eventually release it. I mean, they can't not release it, because you're going to need to put something on that fucking platform.
Well, they did that Disney. They did that Predator movie.
Prey. It's a great film.
Prey.
Yeah,
but even that, you can see the PG-ness to it to a degree.
Well, I mean, the thing is I kind of wanted to push on this, but like Bethesda has made a stupid mistake. Like, do you know that Starfield game that they've been making for?
I just realized what you said. I thought you were talking about a person. Who's this Beth? Who's this
Bethesda bird?
Bethesda, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So anyway, your Starfield game they've been making for this part of a decade.
Yeah.
Anyway, they released details about it, and apparently the things it's going to be made adult for adult themes, politics, and also battle passes. It's like did we not learn that battle passes are just a thing? No, it's a game pass. Sorry, it's a game pass. I do apologize. Still a bloody thing for a single player game.
What Game Pass? Mm-hmm. What is it going to be exclusive to Game Pass? You mean?
No, it's going to have a Game Pass.
But it's not a single player game though.
No, it is a single player game.
Starfield. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it's a multiplayer game, isn't it?
No, it's a single player game.
Oh well, I mean, but Bethesda always have a history of they were the company that kickstarted the fucking whole microtransaction bullshit with the golden horse armor thing. So this is no surprise to nobody that
Which
they're
is a surprise
doing
to
this.
me.
Well, it shouldn't have been. They were the architects. Them and CS:GO were the architects of microtransactions in gaming. So this is no surprise to me. And considering the levels of greed that they hit with Fallout 76, I wouldn't be surprised if they do that with this game with pay to win mechanics and greedy microtransactions. This is Bethesda in a nutshell. And with Phil Jones, is it Phil Jones? Phil Spencer, sorry, who's done no oversight on the companies that they've acquired. I expect nothing less from Bethesda. In fact, I expect the game to be a broken pile of shit where the only things that are working are the microtransactions. Because this is Bethesda to T. Look at Redfall that just released. What a big fucking pile of shit that is. What a huge flop that is. And so, yeah, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, Gary, but I expect this from Bethesda. I don't expect them to learn from their mistakes because they never have.
Well, I mean, because considering, but considering,
Yeah,
I mean,
none of them do.
I know that he's going to say, well, it's just come out, but considering how successful like Tears of the Kingdom, God of War before that, and a couple of other games that have sold gangbusters have just been single player good games like Horizon Zero Dawn, all that sort of stuff. Why they don't have more faith in just making a good game and people will just buy it?
Oh, my baby.
Well, that's just not how Bethesda function. They never have. They never will. They're as bad as EA.
Vegas.
They're as bad as Activision. And with Todd Phillips at the fucking helm, they were never going to change. So expect egregious microtransactions in there. I'm with you. They should have bucked the trend. And I guarantee you the game would have been out a lot quicker had it not had all that stupid shit in it. Because the live services are what's causing a lot of these fucking games to break all the time, because you have to keep updating things to stay in line with new fucking microtransactions and new ways of greed.
Yeah.
And these are game breaking mechanics that people don't talk about. Whereas, games that come out single player form that don't have a lot of the greedy transactions are most times likely to be in better working condition. I'm not going to say all the time because that's a fucking lie.
Like Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, like Hogwarts Legacy is going to come out.
Which was a single player game, which wasn't all about microtransactions or anything like that.
No, there was none of that. It was just a good single player, and it's made fucking bank. And it's a more sustainable form of income for companies. But, Starfield's going to be a flop. And I don't mean that it's not going to do well. What I mean is that it's only, I think is it an Xbox exclusive or is it?
I don't know. Let me have a look.
Okay, I know it's not coming out on PS5 and all this kind of stuff, which is fair enough. You don't buy a company to kind of share the goods in that regard.
PC and Xbox Series X and Series S.
So, nobody cares about the Series S, but it's an Xbox exclusive basically in PC. Now, the chances of this game working on a PC, given the track record of all PC games of late, is just, it's very minimal. So this is one of those games where they're going to have to lean into the greedy microtransactions to make their fucking money back. Because, I don't know, I just have a bad feeling about Starfield that it's going to be a broken piece of shit. I really do.
Well, just in the comments here, continuing from Alien vs Predator, Daniel Vance says it's done, it's in the can, it's mixed.
Yeah, well, I've read that already.
And just to comment here with Jeff, maybe they'll release it on Hulu, but we see in the United Kingdom, whatever would come on Hulu in America will just come on Disney Plus in the UK. There was a show called was it Hereditary?
What? No.
That was a film.
Not Hereditary. Another one, the superhero film show. The superpower one. What was it called?
Extraordinary.
Huh? Extraordinary. Thank you.
Extraordinary. Yeah, watch that, Jeff. That would be probably on Hulu in America, but it came out on Disney Plus in the UK.
Like
and
I
it's
cannot say
probably
the
the
name of the
most.
cats on this stream.
Still the best. Still the best show this year so
On
far.
Disney Plus.
No, still the best show
Yeah.
this year so far.
And
Full stop.
extraordinary, and it's the most unlikely thing you would find on Disney Plus because it's so not Disney like. You know, it's a show where there's lots of swearing and they're talking about sex and stuff like that, and
the whole just the cat
that's
bit.
it.
The cat bit alone just absolutely had me just fucking screaming with laughter. I just couldn't believe it.
And it's set up
I
for
love that
season
show.
2 as well, which is
I
pretty
can't
good
wait.
too. Professor set a date for release and stick to it no matter what. Unlike Larian, who will push back already. You know what? I don't trust.
No,
I
Bethesda don't stick
trust
to release.
anyone.
They always fucking delay things. They delay
I
things
don't trust any.
up to a decade.
I'm trying to think of the good shows that we've had this year. We've had Extraordinary. What was the other show that we said was really good?
Well, for me, I think I'm putting Ted Lasso in there personally. Season 3.
Yeah, nobody
It's
cares
been
when you
good.
think you slag. No, I'm joking, obviously. I don't even fucking know what we've had out this year that's been good. Let me have a look. I know I've still got Skull and Bones to watch or whatever it was called. Rag and Bones or whatever. I haven't watched it yet. I've downloaded it. You never watched that? Hang on. What's
Skull
it
and Bones? It sounds like a pirate
Not
show.
the pirate one. No. It's what's it? Shadow and Bone. That's it. It's a young adult adaptation of a book, and it's the only fucking YA adaptation that's been any good. It is phenomenal. And
I've watched that. It's great.
It's brilliant. The first series was made fucking back in 2019, and then obviously because of the pandemic and all this kind of shit, and it come back and it's done really good numbers for Netflix. So I don't know if they'll make another one, but I hope so. But let's see. TV shows. 20.
Well, Yellowstone season 5 has been good, but season 5 is split into 2 parts, and the second part of season 5 is supposed to come out in November, but they haven't even started filming for season 5 yet, and Kevin Costner's left the show. I don't know how they're gonna plan
drama.
I don't know. I really don't know how they're gonna continue the show just like that without Kevin Costner in it. Like, how do you explain that? You know, it's like. And by the way, today I watched Fast X.
Yeah, no spoilers.
No spoilers at all. It's Fast and the Furious. I mean, what is what you expect from a Fast and the Furious movie? I can't wait to talk about this because there are scenes and moments that I need to talk about, and I can't talk about it without spoiling.
Well,
the
just
fucking
do a
film.
review. Yeah, just release a review of the film, and you can talk about it.
No, but I want to talk to you fuckers about it.
Oh, I'm not watching it.
But
I'm not watching it till it comes out on digital. You know, I used to want until the cinema outpriced itself from the market. The Fast and Furious used to be an event in my area. All right, where we would all go. Okay, it started with Fast 5, where we all attended, and the banter among watchers in the cinema was just hilarious. So then Fast 6 ended up doubling that in terms of banter, and Fast 7 and Fast 7, Fast 8, and Fast 8, but not Fast 9 because of the pandemic and all of that. So it used to be an event in my area because people went for the ridiculous of it. But because of the prices in the cinema now, I'm just going to wait for it to come out on digital. I'm not going to fucking watch it in the cinema. I did watch Fast 9 online, you know, the blurry copy, but that film was so bad. It's the worst in the series. Like, it was no wonder they got rid of Justin Lin because, good God, that guy sucked the life out of it. It just got ridiculous. So yeah, there's no point waiting to talk to me about it because it's going to be a couple of months before I watch the film.
Okay. Daniel Bond said Costner tried to hold a press conference for his new Western and was inundated with questions about Yellow. No doubt. It's a bit like when Scott Bakula, he goes to these Star Trek conventions and everyone wants to talk about Quantum Leap to him. Yeah. Anyone tried the True Life? Yeah, I did 2 episodes and I gave up. It's that quirky American bullshit that I fucking hate. And True Lies is an epitome of that. It's an epitome of that quirky American bullshit where you guys try to do humor and you can't. It reminds me of your fucking commercials. I fucking hate it. You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah. So just looking at shows that got released, like we had Mandalorian, which was a pile of shit. Citadel, which I've given up on. I did 3 episodes, and that's
I'm
all
still
I could
doing
take.
that because Nerdtube for life. You know, so I'm going through. I got my step machine here, and my cross trainer. And I watch
And you
it.
watch it while that's on.
These.
I can't do it. The show is just beyond fucking stupid. But
I mean,
seriously,
this year might be like the all-time like worst year for shows.
it is.
I mean, the shows that you just mentioned were even probably my top 3 worst shows that I've seen this year.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, Citadel and Mandalorian are definitely kind of in top 10 shittest shows of the year so far.
The problem with Citadel is that it wants to be this really cool spy espionage drama, and it ain't. You know, there's moments with the action scenes where they're trying to be really cool with the movements and the suaveness and the luckiness and all of that sort of shit, but it doesn't work. And then with the espionage parts of it, who do you trust, who you don't trust, also bullshit. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? And then and the storyline and stuff like that, it's just a little bit all over the place, and he's trying to be sexy and all. It's like you're really trying to be that spy drama, but all you're doing is feeling like a B-Tech James Bond movie. You know what I mean? Mixed with Mission Impossible.
Exactly. I mean, there's The Last of Us, I didn't watch. I don't know what you guys thought of The Last of Us.
I liked it, but the lack of zombies was an issue. At first, the first few episodes, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
But by the time you got to the finale,
that would be my best shows actually.
Okay.
But by the time you got to the finale and you realize, wow, like you only got maybe 3 episodes out of 9, which were like which had like zombies in it to a significant degree. That's not good. That's not good at all. You know what I mean? If you're doing a zombie show.
Yeah.
So
I'm just trying to look at shows here. No, I really no. All I've done is I've just basically all I've done with fucking Disney Plus is I've just rewatched and gone through every single episode of The Simpsons, like on in the background. So I'm up to date with every single episode they've ever made of The Simpsons, and it's just shit beyond series 9.
Just going back to The Last of Us, a lot of people really liked it, saying how
Silo. I've got to watch that. Yeah.
A lot of people really said they liked The Last of Us because it complemented the game really well. But thinking about this now, I disagree. Like, yes, it did copy a lot of the cutscenes from the game, but what I wanted more, and it did happen now and again, but not enough, was I wanted more of the gameplay elements of the game in the show, not the cutscenes. I wanted the gameplay elements more involved in how the story progressed, but instead we got lines from cutscenes instead, and that wasn't satisfying at all, come to think of it, because if anything, it just makes it easy to make a show like this because you've got all the stuff written out from the fucking video game just to implement in the show. So you got most of your story already done for you. You know what I mean? But if they implemented more of the gameplay in the story, that would have been a lot better. Because there was
gameplay in that fucking thing.
Well, yeah, and you do fight against zombies as well. By the way, you do fight against zombies, and somehow only 3 episodes where you fight against zombies compared to out of 9. It's not even 50% of the episode, so it's ridiculous.
I didn't even fucking like. I'm my hands on my heart. I hate the Last of Us game. I didn't bother with the second one, but I fucking hate games where they're constantly interrupted with cutscenes. Fucking hate them. Like the minute if I can't get a streak of gameplay that's not interrupted, then it's not a game. It's just an interactive fucking story for me. And this is what pissed me off. Like, I could just about handle it with the Uncharted games, but the Uncharted 4 just took the piss with it. It was like, okay, I'm going to climb this. And then it goes into a cutscene. Now I'm going to climb that. Now it's another cutscene. So the prison break, which could have been done in like fucking 10, 20 minutes, was taking fucking an hour or two because of the constant cutscenes. And it's just like, this isn't a fucking game. So that's just my little rant. I hate games like that. That's why I don't give a shit about The Last of Us. But
I did like the series, but as I said, the worst, as I said, like the worst is like Velma, Gotham Knights.
oh yeah, fucking Gotham Knights, which we gave up on after an episode, which I'm hoping they announce that it's going to get cancelled. But
no, so it's going to apparently the bet I had with myself that it wasn't going to last a season. Apparently, I'm going to lose that bet. How they going to get to? If they get another season, I will be really surprised.
Yeah, that's just shocking that they're going to allow that shit to carry on, because it was so fucking bad. Like, oh my god, there are so many bad shows that we've had this year. I haven't watched. I haven't watched it. Like, it's been such a shit year so far. That's why, like, these live streams were kind of mainly made to lean in towards all the film and TV news and gaming news and all that. But instead, we talk more about the politics side of it, because there's always something juicy going on in the world of politics. Whereas in the world of TV, everything's just so bloody vanilla at the moment.
No, like I said, Kevin Costner, but apparently he's got a new Western coming out, which will be interesting to see what's that's going to be like. I think he's going to realize how well he had it
at Yellowstone
on Yellowstone, because he was on a show that was fundamentally praised by everybody who watched it. You know, it managed a streaming show that got 5 fucking seasons. That doesn't happen, mate. That doesn't happen often. You know, it's got 5 fucking seasons.
And built a massive. Now it's just built a huge franchise out of it as well.
Yeah, it can apparently have 6 seasons, even though the 5th season's not finished yet. You know, like, and this, and now with this new Western, it better be good, or people are going to be comparing it to Yellowstone.
It won't be.
Yeah,
it won't be. You know,
I don't think
stuff is always shite. Yellowstone is not his thing. You know, he's just got hired in it, but
he was making like 1.2 million an episode. I mean, Jesus Christ, he had it good.
You know, man.
Yeah, but the thing is that the thing with Kevin Costner is that I think we were talking about this like maybe last week, that he's probably one of the biggest self-sabotagers.
Yeah, he is.
Guys, I mean, because like the guy's super talented, but it seems like he pisses everybody off that he works with. Like, the only people he did was like Whitney Houston, flaming the guy who directed the flaming like the first film.
Bodyguard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one of my I was just thinking to myself, did he ride a horse in The Untouchables? And he actually did, when they were doing the scene where they're on the Canadian border. He rode a horse on that, but he was like, they had to, like, when they were making Yellowstone, a lot of these actors have to go through like cowboy camp and like learn how to be horse riders and stuff like that. But Kevin Costner, with like 3 decades of westerns and films where he's ridden the horses, he didn't really have to do that. I mean, he's been in so many fucking westerns; it's incredible.
No, that's what he loves. That's his favorite. That's his favorite genre. I mean, if he had a chance in Waterworld, he probably would have written a fucking water horse. You know what I mean?
A seahorse.
Well, he rode away. Yeah, rode away. But I like Waterworld, by the way.
Me too. It's shit for the right reason.
Yeah.
I love Dennis Hopper in it. He steals every scene he's in.
Oh yeah, I mean, he was the best part of Speed
he's really
too.
good.
Speed as well.
Yes, because Cheeto, how can I help you?
I think he's just excited.
Yeah, see Mancunian on our screens.
Yeah.
But like, who's like, I like one of my favorite villain performances from a bad film is like, you know, like Tim Curry from Fern Gully, Franklin Skeletor.
Hey, Fern Gully was
Curry
not a shit film.
Tim Curry from
It's a
fucking
great film.
Legend, mate. Tim Curry from Legend is the best. Those horns on his fucking head. Dan needs to take his. Yes. You use that joke all the fucking time. You're a typical American. Come up with some new material for fuck's sake.
Says the guy that talks about taking a shit every 2 minutes.
I'm not trying to joke. I'm actually telling you what I'm actually doing.
Yeah.
That's not a joke. I'm actually taking a shit. I only tell it to you, but you guys don't like me telling it.
No, we don't like. There's a reason we don't like you telling us. It kind of grosses us out.
It doesn't gross me out at all.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I know Ginger's all right with it. Yeah,
I'm all right.
Everyone else. Yeah, I think Block's okay with it as well. He's going.
Oh, Block's a fecophiliac, so he loves it.
Don't tell him. I'll tell him.
I think he's watching, so that's what
Yeah, for sure.
But
are we done here?
Yeah, we're done, guys. I want to thank everyone in the chat for joining us, and I want to thank my two co-hosts. We will be back for next Friday, hopefully with a bit more energy. But you know what it is? The weather has just been so inconsistent that it's just fucked my energy levels because it's too cold and my body's aching. Then it's too hot and I'm sweating, and it's just.
It's a blessing in disguise that we haven't got much to review, and it's just spontaneous stuff recently. So
next week I'm going to talk more about food because I think that's an area we need to cover as well.
When's the Echo series coming out?
Oh, not until November. Got plenty of time.
November?
Yeah.
Bloody hell! I thought it'd be out sooner than that.
No. Because apparently they're releasing
Loki.
They're releasing the entire fucking series apparently.
They're just releasing the whole series. But Zam made a good point of that it might be more of a risk management of not. If you dump it out, you're more likely to retain viewerships by just putting everything out there on a show that nobody's not interested in, rather than doing weekly releases and it loses viewers every week. And I think that is a good strategy to have with all the shit that nobody cares about, because people will just watch it up until the point where they can't watch it anymore, rather than say, well, I'm not going to bother next week because it's just shit. Or it might be really fucking good, you know what I mean? So they're Netflixing it, which is great. I don't mind weekly releases either, because it maintains, longevity in terms of having something to watch. But I don't mind things being dumped all at once as well. Either way is fine. But on that note,
if a show's like an hour long, then make it weekly. It's 30 minutes or whatever. Dump it all at once.
Yeah, agreed. All right, guys, we'll leave it at that. Catch everyone later. All the best. Bye.
Bye-bye.